And here we go. Welcome in to another edition of Bucky and BK. Today is Thursday, April 16th, 2026. And we appreciate you joining us on a Buck Off Thursday edition of the program. A lot to dive into. Cody Stutes will join us to talk a little Houston Texans football as we sit just 7 days away from the first round of the 2026 NFL Draft. The Texans have pick number 28. We'll talk about their offseason and their plans for draft weekend. We'll also talk about the entire draft on today's show. Texas football with a late signee for their class of 2026. They're also hosting a transfer later this week. We'll talk about that. We've got some sound from Steve Sarkeesian and Arch Manning we will play throughout the show. A little NBA play-in conversation, the latest out of the world of golf, and of course the BBK news as well. A lot to talk about. We appreciate y'all spending some of your Thursday with us. A buck on to you, my friend. How are you today?
I'm doing fabulous. What a beautiful day. It's got some sun shining out here, not as cloudy as we've seen over the last couple of days. But enjoy it for today and maybe tomorrow, because after that, it's about to get kind of wet again for the weekend. And I mean, those chances are not just good. It's coming. It's coming on Saturday. But hopefully we can escape the next 2 days, Thursday and Friday, get some stuff done outside if you want to get things done. By the way, if you want to, it's a great day to take the kids over to Hat Creek. Hey, had a hard week of school. Get them all, get the whole gang lined up in the station wagon. You know what I'm saying? Get them in the minivan and take them over to Hat Creek. Great week of school for the kids, but it's going to get wet this weekend again, folks. So enjoy the next 2 days. That's nothing wrong with that. We need the rain.
Well, something's wrong with that if it rains Saturday at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's going to rain.
Yeah, Texas has not announced any contingency plans or really given any updates about what would happen to Saturday's open practice and all of the fan day events if weather should be a factor. And the hope is that your forecast is wrong.
Yeah, but we know who I am. I'm a weatherer.
Yeah.
So everybody understands the weatherer has spoken.
So you don't even need an umbrella or a poncho. It's going to be beautiful and the sun will be shining on Saturday.
There you go. I hope I'm wrong on that, but I think this is just the culmination of a lot of stuff going on all over the Midwest. They have been getting pounded this week some places. But for us, we need the rain, but for me, I've had enough of it. I'm done. I'm kind of done with it. All that does is get me away from T-ball games. And that adds more length to the T-ball and soccer games, because they're gonna get them in. I don't care if we go into August, September, they want to get them in for the kids. And mom and dad want to get them in too, because they're having to pay for these games. So for Saturday, hopefully it's just light rain, but I don't know. You can do it. Hey, this isn't T-ball. You can go and get a little wet. Get a poncho on. Let's get to the game, right?
There you go.
Shouldn't be any. It's going to be warm. It's not going to be 50 or 30, but it ain't going to be 90 either. It's going to be a little bit cooler this weekend, but that's okay. Good day to the soldiers at Fort Hood, Texas, the soldiers in the state of Texas, and all those that fight for us each and every day. Thank you for what you do. We appreciate what you do. To you and your families, thank you so very much, and do be safe out there, all of you.
Yes, indeed. All right. Well, we'll start the show with a few surprises involving Texas football. I mean, we're in the final week of spring practice, and typically your roster is set in stone by now. But the Longhorns still making additions to their 2026 squad. One of these additions is confirmed. Another one could be happening here in the coming days. But last night, the Longhorns signed a 2026 edge out of Humble Summer Creek in the Houston area by the name of Brinley Tita.
Brinley?
Oh, I'm surprised you're focused more on the first name than the last name.
Yeah, Brinley. Yow.
Brinley Tita, Tita. Signed with Texas last night.
Okay, well, I'm not surprised. Why would I be surprised? Remember, I told you there's some extra value out there. Somebody owes somebody something. If it's available, what are you going to do with it?
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. I mean, you had the first signing day for the class of 2026 back in December, and you had the
Right.
second signing day in February, which was very minor for the Longhorns. And here we go in mid-April. The Longhorns adding another piece to their recruiting class of 2026.
There you
Brindley
go.
will enroll on May 31st, and he'll be a part of the roster for the upcoming 2026 season.
He's a cousin to my first cousin's uncle, sister that I owe a favor for down there in the Houston area. Yeah, I think we need to get it done. But Coach, do we have one available? Sure we do. Is it going to cost us anything? Some lunches, some meals. That's it. Okay, let's bring them on. We need the bodies.
105 scholarships now, so you've got a little extra space to take flyers on guys like this. And Brindley Tita originally signed to play at Cisco College, a JUCO in West Texas, back in February. So that was his plan. Like, graduated high school, was going to play college ball at the junior college level, and then Texas reached out. They've been in touch for a few months. He came to Texas on a visit a couple of weeks ago, loved his experience, and the Longhorns extended an offer back on April 7th, so less than 10 days ago. And I guess when your options are somewhere in West Texas at a JUCO or the University of Texas at Austin, it's probably an easy decision.
Going to Austin, brother.
Yeah, it's easy to do.
I'm not taking them JUCO classes. I'm going to the big school.
I'm going to the big school right there. And as far as the player goes, 6'2", 225 pounds.
Okay.
As a senior this past year, he had 94 total tackles, 22 TFLs, 11 sacks. And playing in District 23 6A, he was named Co-Defensive Player of the Year in his district, and he led his team in tackles, TFLs, forced fumbles, and blocked field goals, Buck.
Diamond in the rough, baby.
Perhaps. Yeah, apparently he played interior D-line in high school at 6'2", 225.
Well, he can at 225 in high school, yes.
Yeah, I don't think you can in college.
No, you'll get thrown all over the joint.
I don't even know if JUCO you could do that, but definitely not in the Southeastern Conference.
No, not in this conference. You cannot.
So that's why he's assumed to play edge when he gets to Texas. But hey, 6A, co-defensive player of the year in a district in the Houston area. We'll take that right there.
And keep my eye on T-Ty. I'm going to keep my eye on that guy. I'm going to be asking every week, how's he doing? How's he progressing? Why not?
Apparently, another reason to maybe get excited about Brindley, I think it's Tita. Maybe it's Tita. I don't know.
Either way, Brindley's good enough for me. Old Brindley.
Old Brindley. He set Summer Creek's school record with a 625-pound squat last summer. So it's like 3 times his weight. It's insane. Guy's got some muscle. Maybe there's a little something here. Maybe this is a diamond in the rough.
That's right. The diamond in the rough. We got it. This guy could boost your special teams. He looks like sounds like a guy who could run down and cover some guys if he's not 5'6". If he's not
team. He had 2 blocked field goals last year, Buck. So maybe he's not your gunner on special teams, but someone you could put on the D line and have him block some kicks for you.
Why not?
Where he went to high school, Humble Summer Creek, is where Kelvin Banks went to high school. So the Longhorns have had some success recruiting out of that program. And here is potentially the favor that you were looking for, Buck.
Who's the favor? Okay, where's the favor at here?
According to our guy, Jordan Scruggs, Horns 24/7, frequent guest of this show. Tita's head coach at Summer Creek is Kenny Harrison, played running back at Texas. Did you coach Kenny Harrison, or was he before you?
I did. I think he was here with me.
There you go.
Yeah. He was a tall, slow dude.
Oof.
Yes.
That's not really the combination you want as a running back.
Yeah, but he helped me out. He was a good kid.
And we're not talking about the Kenny Harrison who won a gold medal in the Olympics for the U.S. back in the day.
No. This guy's 40-yard dash was somewhere in the 4.8s, 4.9s.
That's twice as fast as you these days.
For sure.
Maybe me too.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the favor. Who knows?
Maybe it is.
Maybe Kenny's gone on to have a bunch of money and he's putting it in the athletic program. Hope so. He was a good kid.
Coaching the head coach at Humble Summer Creek.
He was a good dude.
Yeah, I like that. Maybe we got to get him on the show and get his thoughts on this pickup for Texas.
There you go.
When's the last time you've talked to that guy? The 90s?
Probably the last time I saw him on the field saying goodbye. It's nice to have been knowing you. That was probably the last time I ever talked to Kenny. But he was never a problem. He was always a good guy.
I like that. Thanks for your service, Kenny. Appreciate what you did here.
Kenny wasn't one of those guys. I told you how I'd find a guy and give him something special to do.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever found a spot that was really special for him. I'm sorry.
Well, he must have learned something from you because he became a coach. Maybe you inspired him.
There you go.
Get into the profession. That was your doing.
I was not bad to him.
All right.
I coached him hard.
Were you bad to any of your players?
All of the rest of them that weren't Kenny, yes.
Everyone else had to deal with it, but the walk-ons, they were spared, huh?
They were spared, yes.
I like it. So there you go. That's one pickup for Texas. Again, that's confirmed. He has signed, and he will get here at the end of May, and we'll be here for summer workouts and obviously for the season this fall. And then another bit of relatively surprising news for Longhorn football. Texas is hosting a transfer linebacker later this week. Guy by the name of Darius Snow spent 6 years at Michigan State.
He's already spent a six-pack there?
Already spent a six-pack there, was recently granted a 7th year of eligibility by the NC2A. Hit the portal back in January. Of course, the portal's been closed for a while, but there's still a few homeless that have not committed or signed.
There you go.
One of them is Darius Snow. Played in 48 career games in East Lansing, 15 starts, 161 total tackles, 9.5 TFLs, 6'1", 230 pounds. Darius Snow is the son of Eric Snow, longtime NBA point guard.
Did Eric Snow play for the Sixers at one time? I heard that name before when my Sixers weren't any good, but he was the guard there.
Yeah, he was a teammate of Allen Iverson for a while.
Oh, my goodness.
Eric Snow, a great college player at Michigan State. Yep. And then spent, I think, 13 years in the league with Seattle, bring back the Supersonics, Philadelphia, and then he ended his career playing with LeBron in Cleveland.
Yeah, he was a little dude, Eric Snow.
He was 6'2", 6'3", what he's listed as.
Not that
little dude. You're like 5'7".
Come on, once again, let's let the people understand I'm a full-grown man and way past full-grown. I'm 5'9" and change, 3/4.
Just because you're of full-grown age doesn't mean you're full-grown height, sir.
Wow.
5'9"3/4. When's the last time you've gotten measured on that height, by the way?
It's been a couple years. Since the Charlie Strong talks, when I measured up and I could stand, I could eat that full course meal off the top of his head.
That's the last time you've gotten your height checked?
Yes, I haven't. No, all the doctor stuff, I have shrinkage in other areas, but my height hasn't. I don't think I've checked that lately.
And Charlie Strong's last year at Texas was 2016. It's been 10 years. There's no way you're still 5'9" 3/4, whatever lie you just.
You think I shrink? You think I shrink my height?
Yeah, I don't think it's just you. I think all of your age gap.
All your people, you people.
I didn't want that to get misconstrued. But yeah, some shrinkage, and I'm sorry you're shrinking in other places too. That's I gotta text your lovely wife and send her my condolences on that deal. That's not fun.
Yeah, but I'm still fun to be around.
Yeah, that's all that matters right there.
That's all that matters, brother.
That's all that matters. But Darius Snow, again, recently granted a 7th year of eligibility. He's actually the nephew of Percy Snow. You remember that name, Buck?
I do remember Percy Snow was a linebacker.
College football Hall of Fame linebacker at Michigan State back in the day.
Heck yeah, Percy Snow. Am I thinking was this before my could this have been when I was coaching at Illinois? Percy Snow was at Michigan State?
Yeah, he was late 80s, so I think that checks out, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So good
He was a
genes.
badass, man. That dude was a badass.
Awesome player. Spent a few years in the league, but was nowhere close to the NFL player that he was in college. But yeah, he's in the College Football Hall of Fame for what he did at Sparty. So, son of a 13-year NBA vet and nephew of a College Football Hall of Famer. That's some Sidney Sweeney genes right there, sir.
Yeah, I will be careful on what I say about Percy Snow. That guy always scared me as a coach when having to play against him, having to block that guy. That was during the Howard Griffith days of Griff. You got to take care of this guy. He's going to hurt somebody on the team. He's going to hit Jeff George in the back of the head. You got to protect him. That was during my begging years. I mean, we always beat Michigan State, but that was during my begging years of telling guys, please, man, don't get the quarterback hurt. You know what Makovic's going to do to me? I said, you guys will be having a new coach if Jeff George gets hurt here.
Oh,
because of me. It'll be because of me. It won't be because of you. Percy Snow was bad, man. He was good. He was a crazy dude.
He was at Michigan State from 86 to 89. He won the Butkus and Lombardi Awards in 1989, his final year of college ball. 3-time first-team All-Big Ten. His numbers retired at Michigan State.
We got to get Grip on and ask him about Percy Snow.
Oh, man. First-round pick by the Kansas City Chiefs. Spent 3 years there, 1 year with Chicago, and that was kind of it. So didn't make it on Sundays, but on Saturdays, yeah, that guy was a problem. Nephew, he's not that, but again, we'll take the genes right there.
Yeah, why not? You like the genes. You like go by that. Hey, we owe a favor. Why not? There's another favor there. This is not going to cost you anything but some lunches.
And this is a guy who's from Texas. He actually played his high school football at Hebron up in the Metroplex, and Texas recruited him. Texas offered him out of high school. Now, it was way back in the 2020 cycles. That was Tom Herman era of Texas football.
Yep.
So I don't know if there's any familiarity with the Steve Sarkeesian staff and Darius Snow, but there's obviously familiarity with University of Texas and Longhorn football with Darius Snow. I mean, you grow up in the state of Texas, you know the Longhorns, but again, had an offer from UT out of high school, ended up going to Michigan State, spent 6 seasons there and played a decent amount, actually started his career as a safety, put on some LBs, moved down to linebacker, 6'1", 230 pounds. Look, if Texas does end up signing Darius Snow, he's not going to be a plug-and-play starter.
No.
He's just going to be a depth guy in that linebacker room and maybe some insurance if something were to happen to one of your starters.
Oh, yeah, when you got a 12-year player, might as well, you got to bring him on, don't you?
Yeah.
12-year pro.
Seventh year of eligibility. So how old is this kid? 23, 24?
26 and change and moving up the ladder. Do you think he's got some wear and tear on him from being either special teams, going down to the look squad? That guy's got some wear and tear on him. But, hey, he can help you. You never know.
He was in the 2020 recruiting class, which featured a guy by the name of Bijan Robinson.
Wow.
That's how old this guy is. Also, Bryce Young in that recruiting class, Will Anderson getting it done for the Texans. I mean, Jalen Carter. Yeah, a lot of guys. Jackson Smith and Jigba, who just got
this dude has some wear and tear on him.
Yeah. So this guy's been around the block a little bit, but I'll take it. And look, Texas, they lost a lot from their linebacker room last year. Anthony Hill off to the NFL, Trey Moore off to the NFL, Leonga Lafau off to Colorado. I mean, the Longhorns have already brought in 3 transfer backers with Rasheem Biles, Juice Cryer, and Marcus Boswell. But, outside of those 3 and I guess Brad Spence, there's not a lot of, and Ty Anthony Smith, I guess, too. A lot of the depth that Texas has at linebacker are pretty young guys. So this is, again, a guy going into year 7 of college football. It's not like he played at a nothing program. He's been in the Big Ten for 6 years, and he's put up some numbers in his career. This is a guy who could just be a nice insurance policy and maybe a dude who can find some snaps at some point this year if he ends up signing.
Dude, once again, he takes the pressure off of you. He's probably good enough to go down and do some special teams things that you don't want to put your starter on, or you feel like you're not going to lose much by getting him on the field because he's had some experience. It's fine to have those guys. I mean, I don't know if he's the diamond in the rough because he's kind of an old dude, but he can help you on special teams.
Yeah. He can give you something, right? You're not asking him to come in and be the face of the
No,
defense. You're
no,
asking
you're
him to
not.
help stabilize the room, maybe to give you a few snaps, maybe to rotate, and I think most importantly, survive some injuries if they pop
For
up.
sure.
Obviously, best case scenario, he ends up being a little more than that. So keep an eye on that this week. I mean, if Darius Snow does sign, he's not going to pop off the page like a lot of the other portal additions Texas has made this offseason, but the type of move that good programs make. And anytime you're adding to your team at this stage of the offseason, I think maybe there's some like, okay, what's wrong? Is something wrong? But again, with 20 extra scholarships to give around, like why not have some more depth when you
Hey,
can?
party favors. I'm telling you, you got some party favors out there you got to do. You want to get back. Maybe there's another kid at the high school that's going to be special in 2 years or whatever, and
Yeah.
you can offer up a party favor right away. Why wouldn't you?
You think Sark maybe is a Sixers fan and he wants to get some Sixers tickets from Eric Snow?
No, but I'm telling you, sometimes you just go through those places and, some coach says, you know what? See this kid over here? He's only a sophomore, but coach, I want you to check him out. But I've got this guy over here that's looking for a place to go. Let me give you some little details on him. And you take that kid, and 2 years later, that coach is in your corner, maybe helping you out with that guy that may be a superstar. Why wouldn't you do that? That's part of the deal. That's part of the bargaining chips going to these high schools.
For sure.
And that's how you keep close with coaches in the state.
Relationships matter, right?
Well, yeah, you're not running off to California doing these kind of crazy things.
No. Yeah. Keeping your connections with the high school coaches in state, that matters a lot when you're at the flagship University of Texas. And yeah, some coaches don't do a great job with that, but I think Steve Sarkeesian
some coaches just say, can he help us now? No, he's probably not going to be able to help you and start. And they'll say, well, nah, no thanks. And then 2 years later, you got some kid that's a great one there. And that same coach remembers you of going, nah, that's okay. He'll say, okay, yeah, remember that kid I needed you to take and you had all those scholarships?
Yep. And again,
got to give it a little smooch every once in a while,
Ooh, is that what happens on these recruiting visits?
That's what I'm just saying. Every once in a while, you got to do what you got to do.
You got to kiss the high school coach?
Yeah, every once in a while.
Hey, remember me for this. Here's how I'll make sure you remember me. Just a nice little French.
Sometimes you have to kiss that ring. Got to give it a little kiss. Take them on. It's not going to cost you anything. If the kid's not a pain in the ass, why wouldn't you do it? You know what I'm saying? And he can help you. But that 7-year deal, that body's used up pretty good.
You think anytime Steve Sarkeesian goes to Lake Travis, Hank Carter's like, here, kiss the ring?
Kiss one of these championship rings?
Yeah. And then Sark's like, here, kiss my Big 12 championship ring.
No, he doesn't have to do that. You don't have to do that locally. There, you know the kid's good enough. You can get back in at places like that, but that doesn't hurt. That's a good move right there. It doesn't cost you anything.
No, and I mentioned it earlier, going back to Brinley Tita, who signed out of high school. I mean, Humble Summer Creek, that's where Kelvin Banks went to high school. And we know how good Kelvin Banks was at Texas, a top 10 pick in the NFL, now playing with the New Orleans Saints. So
and there'll be more to come coming through that system. That.
It's the greater Houston. Any favors you could give to coaches in the greater Houston or DFW Metroplex areas?
Yes.
I'll sign up for that.
There you go.
A little strategery, I think, by Steve Sarkeesian there. So there you go. There's, again, some unexpected roster news for Texas football very late in the off season and in mid-April, but there you go. All right, we'll bring things back to.
I don't know if you're going to find any more of those, but who knows?
Well, they found one more than I thought they'd find, and heck, with Darius Snow, the transfer, they found one more of those than I thought they'd find.
I mean, like you said, BK, there's plenty of them still out there looking for places. Calling up. Those kids are calling up schools to go to. Schools aren't calling them. They're calling up saying, hey, listen, you got a spot there? I played here. Here's some film of me. And some of those people are looking at him saying, you know what? This kid ain't bad. It ain't going to cost us anything. We got the scholarship. Let's bring him in. Let's look at him.
Yeah. And for Darius Snow, he entered the portal back in January when it was open. He visited UNLV and Tulsa back in January. Obviously didn't commit or sign anywhere. So maybe he was waiting for an opportunity like this.
Sure.
Like, going from Michigan State to one of those two schools, it's like, well, I could probably play a little bit more, but maybe he's like, you know what? I'm not going to play on Sundays. Like, I'd rather just go have fun my last year, be a part of a winning team,
Sure.
go to a great university, live in a cool city. And the guy's lived in East Lansing for the last 6 years. Get him out of there. Now he's a North Texas kid. So coming back home, if he
That's
does end
true.
up signing, that's another appealing thing.
Get himself some Texas gear.
Get himself some Texas gear. I got to hit up Darius Snow. I need some of that gear.
There you go.
All the stuff you gave me is all withered away.
Oh, that stuff's all falling apart by now. You know what we're going to get the gear at? We're going to get that Sue Patrick tomorrow, brother. We're going to get some of that Texas gear because they got plenty of gear over at Sue Patrick. 5222 Burner Road, folks. You're going to enjoy. Hopefully you'll get a chance to come by and say hello to us tomorrow. We always look forward to seeing Jay and the gang over there. Tons of Texas-themed items, books, gifts, a wide variety of men's and women's clothing. Ladies, all your gear is in, as a matter of fact, too, for the spring. So head on over to Sue Patrick. Say hello to Sue. She'll be holding court tomorrow. I guarantee you that. She'll be there talking and tell you about all the fashions that they have, all the beautiful spring prints for the ladies there, and shoes. They got bags there just for you. But guys, they've got hats for you, T-shirts. You want some of the great T-shirts, you'll have them there at Sue Patrick. 5222 Burnham Road. For more information, go to SuePatrick.com.
Yes, indeed. Excited to be out there tomorrow. Hope to see you people there.
You need gear for the. I need gear for the spring game. You may have to pick up a little rain gear, maybe.
They've got rain gear.
Ponchos.
Yeah, Longhorn ponchos right there. They've got you covered. You can rep the horns in style wherever you are with our friends at Sue Patrick. Also, a shout out to Audiovisual Consultations. Happy belated birthday to our guy, Tom McKay. What a great time of the sports calendar. The NBA playoffs are about to really get going this weekend. The Stanley Cup playoffs get going this weekend. Major League Baseball in full swing. College baseball, college softball, golf. I mean, it's
Probably
all going on.
Live golf. Hey, get that live golf while you can.
Get that live golf while you can. Seems like that league might be short-lived.
Oh.
Yeah, since they never sponsored the show, I'm now anti-live.
Now you're anti-live now?
Well, I feel like they're out of money, so they're probably not going to sponsor us at this point.
How did they get out of money so quick? No, they only spent $5 billion.
Yeah, I think it's the people funding them might be. We'll get to that a little bit later. But
yeah.
Hey, AV Consult, whether you're watching the PGA Tour, live golf, whatever sport you like to watch, upgrade your home TV setup. Stop driving around the city every weekend to watch the sports, spending all that money on gas, going to the sports bars, going to friends' places. God forbid you're going to your in-laws' place to watch this. No, make your home the place to be for friends, for family, most importantly for yourself with an upgraded TV setup from Audiovisual Consultations. If you want the 4-screen man cave like I have, they can make it happen for you. If you want the big 85-inch screen like the Bucks got, they can make it happen for you. Home theater rooms, patio setups outside. They do surround sound speakers. They do everything. AV Consultations handles it all from start to finish. Don't buy TVs and then call them. No. Call them right off the bat and let Tom and his crew bring everything to you. 512-255-8678. That's their phone number, or find them online at avconsultations.com.
Love it.
Yes, indeed. And also a shout out to our friends at the Altstadt Brewery, named Brewery of the Year in the state of Texas back in February. If you're looking for something to do during a springtime weekend, make the short drive down to Fredericksburg. It is a beautiful drive. I mean, the Altstadt Brewery is right in the heart of the central Texas hill country. There's plenty to do in Fredericksburg, too. If you're making an entire day trip, make sure you stop at the Altstadt Brewery. They've got great food served by a former Michelin chef. They've got an outdoor beer garden. They've got live music every weekend. Of course, you're going to get plenty of samples of the great Altstadt beers, and they've got a lot to choose from. Go check it out. It was named Brewery of the Year, not by this show, by the Texas Craft Brewers Cup back in February. They also have a ton of beers that you don't have to drive all the way out to Fredericksburg to get. Get you some the next time you're at any grocery store, liquor store, bar, restaurant, wherever you get your beer. It is my choice. It should be yours as well. It's Altstadt Beer. No impurities, no regrets.
Awesome.
All right. Let's get to a little bit of sound as we continue our Texas football conversation. You want to hear from the head coach? You want to hear from the quarterback first?
I want to hear from the head coach first.
All right. We've got some Steve Sarkeesian sound to get into. You know what? How about Steve Sarkeesian talking about the quarterback?
Okay, that's cool.
little combination, a little best of both worlds. Obviously, Arch Manning has been limited throughout the spring, recovering from off-season surgery that he had shortly after the Longhorns took down Michigan in the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl on the final day of 2025. Here's Sark. He was asked for an update on Arch Manning, but also kind of what are the goals for Arch moving forward as he continues to recover?
Back in June, 100% ready to rock and roll. Like, seriously, like he could probably be out there right now. There's no doubt about it. But I don't know what 3 practices for him would do going live with the other guys around him. KJ and Dia are getting valuable reps. But when we come back in June, he's going to be rolling. And he looked great today. I mean, I thought he threw the ball beautifully, was very efficient. Like I said, had 2 really good drives and 7-on-7. I don't think he threw an incompletion today.
Yeah, they're not putting that dude out there for the last 3 practices. That guy's on cruise control. He's holding the clipboard, studying the footwork, helping out some of the younger guys. It's not about him right now. It's about how stupid you'd look if that guy went out there and just sprains his ankle or re-injured his foot. That's all that's about right there. Let him watch enough film. He didn't even have to come out to practice. He can go sit in the film room until practice is over with.
Well, you heard Sark say he had a really good practice on Tuesday. Like, he's still throwing the football. He's
he's throwing on air, but he's not going to get anything where anybody can step on him. He's going to drop back and pass on air.
Well, he's doing some 7-on-7 stuff. I mean, he's not doing full team drills, 11-on-11, but he's doing more than holding the clipboard, I guess, is my point. If he was still holding the clipboard right now, I'd be a little concerned that maybe he was not recovering the way he should.
Yeah, I mean, he's not partaking in anything where somebody can come near him.
No. And that's fair. I mean, that's kind of been the theme all spring long. I mean, Sark basically told us from spring practice number 1, like, we're going to ease Arch Manning back. There's no need to rush him. We've got a long way to go till the season gets here. He's fine. He doesn't need the reps. I mean, Sark basically compared him to an NFL veteran quarterback. It's like, those guys don't need training camp. They know the offense. They know what to do. They've been around the block. That's the way they've handled things. But
yeah, I mean, it's you versus the kid because the kid wants to go out there and do stuff with his teammates. That's just how they are, competitive guys. I'm fine, coach. My foot's healed. I'm ready to go. And it's like, no, not now. This is not the time. Let it heal some more.
Yeah. Arch also told us yesterday that he's feeling 100%. And if Texas had a real game on Saturday, he would be playing, no questions asked. So this is, just an abundance of caution, making sure there's no re-aggravation or anything. But
we all would be worried if that's the way. I mean, I kind of thought when he was, kind of booted there, that's protecting him from him,
Yeah. And as Steve Sarkeesian said, KJ Lacey and Dia Bell, those guys are getting valuable reps.
For sure.
And those guys are 1 and 2 snaps away from playing this year. Most of the conversation about them has been, okay, who's going to take over for Arch Manning when he departs for the NFL? But those guys need some reps with this year's number 1 offense just to make sure that they're ready to go if and when their number is called.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great experience for the young quarterbacks too, because they get all of that me versus you guys. The defense lines up and guys get beat and they have to be able to react. They got to be able to throw balls away and not throw interceptions. They get a chance to do all of that stuff right now. That's great for them. A lot of times when your quarterback is healthy and you've got a quarterback that's not probably leaving, your young guys don't get that much chances. They spend so much time on the guy who's going to be in the games during the fall. He's getting all the reps. You're sitting back there every once in a while, you'll get a rep or you'll go down and go versus the defense. That's where you get your reps. Now these are really meaningful reps for these young guys.
Yeah, once Arch Manning is back, and if he is 100% for summer and fall, then he's going to play some catch up. And also, you're preparing for the season at that point. So you got to have your starter out there a lot more often. So, that makes sense. That makes sense.
It's tough, like I said, because the player themselves, he wants to get out there, as Arch says, if there was a game this week, I'm 100%. Believe me, he feels like he's 100% to be practicing along with everybody else. But the head coach understands if that dude were to get hurt now, what are they going to say to him? Huh? You did what? I've been there before. I've done that.
Yeah. We'll have him on as a guest on The Apprentice. You're fired.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
Give him that treatment. Here's another bit of sound from Steve Sarkeesian. That was the show, right? The Apprentice, where that
Yes,
happened?
I believe so. Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Sark was asked what he's learned about this new roster. You've got 40-plus new faces this year compared to last year. A lot of transfers, obviously another high school signing class. Here's Sark talking about adapting to his new roster.
No, I think it's the connectivity that you've got to try to create. We touched on, I think, way back in February about, a lot of our culture work, historically we waited till June and July to do. We started doing that in February, and I thought that really helped us. I think really challenging the leaders on the team to pull these guys in and get that locker room tight. I think that identifying character in recruiting was a big component, this time around, especially in the portal. And you bring in a Cam Coleman, a Raleek Brown, a Hollywood Smothers, a Rasheem Biles, all these guys, Bo Masco, they're great people as much as they are really good players. And so they kind of bought into what we were doing even before they signed with us. And so when they got here, it was easy for them to do those types of things. And so it was a little shift in focus for what we were looking for. It was a little shift in our attack to the culture of how we wanted to build the culture. It was a little shift in, challenging the leadership on the team of bringing these guys in. It was a little shift on the coaches of doing more work position group. You guys probably saw in the offseason, the position groups going bowling together with their coaches or going to dinner together, and not just one position group isolated, but multiple position groups. We're trying to build that connectivity, that love that I think you have to have, because talent will get us so far. Effort's going to get us so far. Connectivity and culture is I think, the thing that's going to hopefully get us over the top in some of these tight games.
Yeah, and good players. Yeah, and very good players get you over the top.
He did say talent, so I think that.
Yeah, that works also. It's just, they've done such a good job of that over, during the transfer portal years with Sark. He's just done he's not going to bring in a pain in the ass no matter how good they are. It's just, he's going to get all the ducks in a row when it comes to who he brings to this campus and the things that can happen. There's a lot going on a campus like this, in a city like this. You can have some problems here very easily. If they've got it in Georgia, if they got it in Athens, Georgia, you can damn sure have it in Austin, Texas. If you're not careful with the kind of people you bring on your campus, it's just that easy. But he's done a fantastic job of that. This place has been relatively quiet over the last couple of years. You want to keep it that way. You want to make it all about football. You want your players to enjoy a great city like this, enjoy great education, and some great people, food, all the stuff that comes with it. I think he's done a good job. So I think that just continues. I know he started the plan a little bit earlier. He thought he started a little later, and they've done it a little bit sooner. But, there's not much to say on what they've done when it comes to culture-wise with the players.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. That's well said. And you look around the country at a lot of different places, and there's a lot more off-the-field stuff happening. And
yes,
thankfully, of course, it hasn't been perfect around here. It's not perfect anywhere, but compared to a lot of other schools in the SEC and just around college football,
knock on wood, it's been pretty good around here lately. This place, like I said, I came here. There's a lot of things that are very distracting for a young man, in his late teens, early 20s to get into here and get off the beaten path of what you're really here for. But they've done a good job. I'll say that. No matter what the job is, they've done a good job at it.
Well, it's a sign of a good culture. And like you said, it's the sign of a coach and a coaching staff that looks for certain characteristics about people before they offer a scholarship, whether it's at a high school or out of the transfer portal. They're not just looking at stars. They're doing their due diligence and making sure, all right, this person is not going to ruin things for us. Go back a couple of years ago with Jonte Cook, 5-star wide receiver. Texas basically kicked him off the team in the middle of the season because he was being a distraction.
Yes.
That's a 5-star. Guy was one of the top wide receivers in the country. Guy was making some NIL money. There were expectations for him to be maybe the next great wideout at the University of Texas. And he was kind of pulling the string the other way, and he became a distraction, and he was complaining. And, hey, to Texas's credit, it was Jonte Cook is leaving the program. But what really happened was Jonte Cook was asked to leave the program. And that's just, hey, if you're not with us, if you're swimming in the other direction, there's no space for you here. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be very careful. I mean, it's that fine line. You know, we talk about NIL, we talk about all the other distractions of I need this, I need that. I mean, it's you got to have guys that are pulling in the same direction for the team part of it. We like the money, but it can't always be about the money. If you got guys going in a different direction because of the money, and they're just kind of cruising, and they're going to screw up the rest of the culture for your team. And now with the addition, as you said, BK, now you got 120 scouts. Now it's different. It's 105. Now it's really different. Now you've added more people onto your team. It just takes a little bit more. That's a huge family to take care of.
Let me ask you this. I know the transfer portal wasn't around when you were coaching, so I guess this is more a conversation about incoming freshmen, right? Just a whole new crop of players. How tough is it, or how much time does it take to get the new guys sort of acclimated with, the culture that's already there and kind of what you were trying to be as a football team?
Well, I think it was tougher back then because, you didn't have them till the fall. Nobody's coming in January. You weren't going through winter workouts with really high school age kids, which was you'd lose your mind because it's be over and over and saying the same thing over and over. But then by the time the fall came, your expectations would be really, really high if you got them in that early. And as Sarkeesian say, if I can start talking culture stuff in February or January instead of waiting till kids getting here in the spring, that's a huge plus. That was a huge move by him. Even though to me he still had done a good job, this makes it even better now because you're adding just a little bit more. You got 40 new kids on your roster, 40 guys coming from different spots to mix in with the ones that you already love and care about. Now you got these guys that you really are just getting to know. That's difficult, man. It's not easy. Once again, Austin, Texas got some great things about it, but there are some distractions. If you're a 20-year-old or a 19 or 18-year-old kid, there's a lot of distractions that could distract you away from what the real purpose is to be here,
For sure.
And the big one is education. Student athlete.
You're right. Education is a big distraction from football. So focus on ball. That's what we're here for, right?
That's not the theme of going into somebody's house.
They are athlete students now, sir.
Even at this present time, that would not be my first thought is, you know what, here's what we're going to pay you. It would always be, I'm going to get your son a degree from the University of Texas. That is my job, to do the best I can in graduating your son from college, no matter where it would be. That was my number one thought when I go into the house. Not here's how much money your son's going to make over the next 2 years.
Times they are a-changing, my friend.
Well, that would still be my theme.
You know what I would say if you were there with me recruiting? I'd say, yeah, that's all fine and dandy, but what's Uncle BK getting at?
Uncle BK needs a new car. That's what you'd be doing.
Yeah, I don't know if a 4-year sport management degree is going to get me a new car. So,
well, I dealt with mom. I had to get to mom first because if mom didn't like you as a recruiter, kid wasn't ever coming no matter what dad said. That was like automatic. That was an automatic no. If you go into a mother's house, and I don't care if she had plastic covering on the furniture, if you didn't tell her house was beautiful or her meal was delicious or her iced tea was the best you ever had, it was over with, BK. I mean, it could end on the first visit. It could end. If mom was not impressed with you as a person she was going to put her son with, no matter what the dad thought of you, oh, isn't this a great man? If mom said, no, there's something about that dude, it was done.
Yeah. Got to impress mama.
Oh, you got to impress mama quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
Are you the mom? Are you his sister? Oh, no, I'm his mom. If she started smiling at you when you start throwing stuff in like that, it would be like, yes. So what's your sister's name? Oh, this is my mom. What? It's your mom?
You dropped that line a few times?
Oh, I've dropped that line a few times.
What was the success rate on that?
Pretty good. It made it that you were going to at least get to come back again. You get one of those second visits to the house.
Yeah, just with that one intro, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, me telling Dan Campbell's, like, I saw those big deer out there or whatever they were. Are they goats? and they were deer. That's a little different. They sent me to the wrong spot, dude.
Yeah, you goofed on that one. We could have had Dan Campbell here in Austin, and
yeah, but I went back more than once. I stayed for dinner too. I actually got to stay for dinner. That mattered.
That's probably a nice meal.
It was a great meal.
What was the worst? You ate squirrel one time? That's the worst thing you had to eat on a recruiting visit?
Yeah, I recruited. They sent me to Louisiana to a kid's place, and his dad has a restaurant on stilts in the, we had to take like a motorboat, little swamp boat back there to his restaurant. I was like, damn, there's something's wrong. I'm about to get some cinder blocks on my legs or something and thrown overboard. And I had squirrel. Yeah. And that was all right. I've not had squirrel since. How's this? I've not had squirrel since.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like most people don't eat squirrels, so that's smart by you. I think I would have left that visit. I think I would have gotten out of coaching if that was a requirement for the job.
No, I've stayed in. I made it through every visit, with the exception of the one where I told the kid where I went over and turned the TV off.
Yeah,
that was. I was mad. I had spent a lot of time going to that house, and I was actually mad. And I couldn't. The kid was just okay. It was one of those kids that, at the end, if you didn't get him, you didn't give a rat's ass. I mean, it was like, if I don't get him, so be it. That kid ain't gonna be a great one anyway. Guy wants to be an engineer. He could hardly spell engineer, but he wanted to be an engineer. That was the dude.
Yeah, you should have just stayed and watched TV then. Like, why'd you spend so much time trying to recruit the kid? Just sit on the couch, watch TV. Maybe you would have gotten him at the end of the day.
Dude, I went to that house 3 times.
This guy's relaxing. He's chill. He just likes to hang out. He's one of us.
No, he couldn't have played. He would have been so far in the back of my lineup. But that's okay. Sometimes you get them and sometimes you don't. Like I said, I went to a kid who came to University of Texas who had a dirt floor as their living room in Houston. I told you about that. That was so amazing to me that, I grew up in Carolina, and I've been in homes in, Appalachia, up in places like that in the Carolinas. But I went, and these folks, you open up the door, a wood door to the house, and the floor was dirt that had a rug on it. I mean, it was truly dirt. And I told that mom, this place is so nice. What a wonderful family. What a wonderful meal. And I left that place going, oh my God, this kid and that kid came to Texas.
How about that?
Came to Texas and had a really nice career and career as a fullback linebacker and did really graduated and was a wonderful person.
Awesome.
And I don't know how his parents were great people.
Dirt floor.
I mean, dirt, swept dirt. I mean, that's how you got no wood floor. I know people say wood floor, but no, this was dirt. I've been in places like that, BK, but I'd never been in there at that level when I had that kind of job.
Yeah, I've seen poor. That's poor right there.
Yes, poor. Yeah. But you know what? Guy had on clean clothes. Family was wonderful. The food was wonderful. Everybody, they spoke highly of the university, and the kid came. So I couldn't be happier.
I love it. All right, bringing things back to this coach here.
Yes.
A little more sound from Steve Sarkeesian earlier this week. A big storyline throughout the spring was injuries. I mean, a lot of players had off-season surgery, from Arch Manning to Ryan Wingo to Ty Anthony Smith to Emmett Mosley. I mean, to Trevor Gooseby. Like, the list goes on. These are important players, guys who are expected to have major roles for the 2026 team. So Coach Sark was asked, hey, were you able to achieve the goals that you had going into the spring, or did all of the injuries and limitations maybe prevent you from getting there?
I will say this about the guys that have been out of the team stuff, right? They're all working, and so my one of my goals was to make sure that those guys continued to improve, even though they might not be in all of the team reps. And so that Arch has been back now, really going outside of the team stuff. I can see the continuity with Cam, which we knew was going to be important. And, I think he threw him 2 touchdowns today. So it's like that level of comfort for me feels better. I'm not so concerned in the fall. Trevor's still doing a lot of his footwork, a lot of the walkthrough things. Same with Ty Anthony, Xavier Filsamy, Emmett's back out there running around. Wingo's been out there. So those guys, I'm not so concerned on that front, but I am into the month of May and as we head into June, that those guys get their strength back. And that's something as a staff we talked about. These guys coming off those surgeries, especially the shoulder surgery guys, getting their strength back in May and into June so that they are ready for August when that rolls around. And so, again, my goals are always in spring to become the best team that we can become and start to get an idea of the identity of our team. We're not finished yet, but all right, are we as explosive as I wanted us to be when we put this roster together? That's coming to fruition for us. You can feel the explosiveness of this offense, which is great for us. Flip side, defensively, do we have enough athleticism on all three levels to create havoc, to create negative plays, which we talked about before spring, the value of creating negative plays. And so those things are a work in progress, but I can see it trending in the right direction, which is a positive for us.
When he talks about guys being healthy, I don't know. Have we ever really seen a truly healthy Emmett Mosley? I mean, was he even when he was playing and during the season, was he banged up? Has he never been 100% since he's been on this campus?
Well, it's a great question. I mean, I don't know if he's been 100% ever in his college career.
Wow.
He's a guy who got hurt his senior year of high school and missed the majority of the season, and that caused his recruiting rankings to drop. Texas was recruiting him out of high school. He got hurt, and Texas kind of backed away, as did a number of other schools around the country. Started at Stanford, had a very good statistical season, but missed some time early on, recovering from the ACL injury he suffered in high school. And then, he didn't get to Texas until last summer. They had 2 portal windows last year, and he was in that second one. So he missed spring ball. He got hurt in the first week of camp in the fall and missed the first month of the year, came back, put up some decent numbers. But I don't know. Long-winded way of saying I don't know if he's ever truly been 100% early in college, but especially in his time at Texas.
So you really want to make sure during this spring that guy's playing a lot of catch. He's getting himself stronger, that he'll come into the season better than he's ever been since he's been a junior in high school, probably.
Yeah. Maybe the most positive development of this week of practice for Texas is that Emmett Mosley is back at practice.
Yes.
When we heard about the surgery, the insiders and a lot of the reports were he's going to miss the entire spring. And it's he might miss some of summer, and this could linger into fall camp.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he's back out there, again, non-contact stuff, not doing 11-on-11 stuff, but he's running around, playing the catch, actually doing things. Right. That is a sign that maybe he's ahead of schedule from where he was initially expected to be.
Yeah, I'm guys like Wingo, I'm not worried. I mean, unless he had surgery on his hands for being able to catch the ball, I'm not worried. I think those kind of things are going to be fine. And guys with shoulder injuries, your offensive tackle, how good he is. He just, once again, if that guy didn't do another thing except for show up for the games, I'd be ready to go with him.
Yeah, there's levels too. I mean, most of those guys, even Emmett Mosley, I feel like he's a really good player who doesn't need all of this time.
Right, but, he's an experienced player. He's played in enough offense.
But you'd like to have – I mean, there hasn't really been a practice yet, and there have been catch moments, but
sure.
Talking a full-on practice where you've had Arch Manning, Cam Coleman, Ryan Wingo, and Emmett Mosley all out there.
Yeah, you won't get that till the fall now.
Exactly. And it's look, I feel like Texas might have the best wide receiver room in the country. That's as good of a top 3 as there is in college football. And then you throw on all of the other guys, the depth is crazy in that room too. But your 3 best guys are the 3 names that I mentioned. So making sure, again, we saw it with Wingo last year. We saw it a lot with Mosley last year when he played. Coleman's obviously new. Making sure the chemistry is there and that those 4 guys are all in sync. That's a huge key to this offense doing what we want it to do in 2026.
Absolutely.
So you don't need it in the spring, but as many reps as possible. Sark talked about the connectivity and the chemistry, getting that there with those guys, I think is paramount to this team.
Yeah. And I need my guys healthy in the fall. That for me is I can get through spring. I can get through spring and they can go play catch and I can see them move and do some things. But when the fall camp comes, I need them from day one out there and ready to go.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And look, it's valuable reps for the other guys, right? Some of these dudes have been limited.
It really is.
In part, it's April. Let's just keep these guys healthy for the fall. but in part it's, okay, what's Jermaine Bishop got? What's Khalil Lockett? I guess Khalil Lockett's been hurt, so that's a bad example. What's Cohen Brown got? What's Chris Stewart got? What's Sterling Burkhalter, this transfer from Wake Forest? Like, what do all of these other wide receivers that we have bring to the table? Are these guys we can trust in real games in the fall? And that's, I think, part of the reason why it's kind of easy for Steve Sarkeesian to err on the side of caution.
That's why a young guy like Cooper needs to get as much rep. If you think he's going to be playing for you as a freshman, he needs to get all the reps he can in the spring, because when the fall comes, those other two dudes, game plan wise, are going to be getting all the reps. So you got to feel that this guy, as a freshman, is good enough to be in there and getting a couple reps during the fall, because he's not going to get very many.
I don't know, man. The way they're talking about him, he might be getting more reps in the fall than you think.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see once he gets in the game and does some things, then they're going to know for sure he's ready to go at this level,
100%. All right. We'll take your thoughts. The Coda text line, 512-222-9328. Shout out to our friends at Circuit of the Americas. Also, the YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch live chats are rocking and rolling as well. We will talk some Houston Texans football in a moment with my guy, Cody Stutes, who covers the Texans down in H-Town. We're 7 days away from the draft, so talk about the Texans' plans there and also get the latest on CJ Stroud. But before we chop it up with Cody, Buck, how about a quick round of sponsor shout-outs?
Folks, if you're seeking that special patient-focused orthopedic care, contact our experts and our friends at Texas Orthopedics. Their physicians offer comprehensive surgical and non-surgical orthopedic care for children and adults, spinal care, trauma care, sports medicine, joint replacement, and more. Dr. Danny, Dr. Stockton are dedicated orthopedic surgeons there, and their goal is to get you right back into good health and the great quality of life that you deserve. Texas Orthopedics is the largest independent orthopedic practice in Central Texas. For more information, go to txortho.com.
Yes, indeed. Also, a shout out to our friends at McCall Custom Homes. If you are looking to upgrade your home here in 2026, reach out to our guy, Mike McCall, and his great team at McCall Custom Homes. Kitchen remodels, bathroom renovations. If you want to add some life to your outdoor space, maybe you've got a growing family, you need to add on to your home, doesn't matter. McCall Custom Homes can do all of it. They're A+ rated by the BBB, tons of 5-star reviews online, and they've got a bunch of experience too. It's a father-son team with more than 4 decades of combined experience here in Central Texas, so they know what it takes to turn an Austin area home into something truly special. Free estimates to Bucky and BK listeners. Find out more at McCallCustomHomesATX.com, or you could call or text our guy Mike directly. Great dude, big Longhorn fan, listens pretty much every day. 512-633-9580. That is his number. For McCall Custom Homes, we build value into your home. I'll give a quick shout out to CentexTickets.com as well. If you're looking for tickets to any sporting event, any concert, Broadway show, comedy show, festival, not just here in Austin, but you want to catch a Spurs game in San Antonio, you want to catch a Rockets playoff game in Houston, an Astros or Rangers game, anything. They have you covered at CentexTickets.com. Don't forget to use our promo code CENTEX10. If you type that in at checkout, you are going to get 10% off of any ticket purchase, whether you're buying 1 or 10. It does not matter. It's 10% off from our friends at CentexTickets.com.
Very nice.
All right, let's shift gears here and talk a little NFL. We are 1 week away from the draft, and joining us now from H-Town to talk about the Texans' plans at pick number 28 and really the entirety of the NFL draft is my guy, former co-host down at ESPN Houston, now doing a tremendous job covering the Houston Texans for Houston football. You can find him on YouTube as well. Just search his name. Cody Stutes with us now on Bucky and BK. Stutes, good to see you, man. Thanks for the time. How are you?
Great to be here, man. Appreciate you asking me to come on. The draft's one of my favorite things. It's the marrying of college football, which we all love, and professional football, which, sometimes we all love, depending on how good our teams do on Sundays. And it's great. I love it. And I'm happy to be talking about it. And, man, draft season flew by this year. Usually it's like, oh man, 2 weeks away. I've done 700 mock drafts. Like, nope. It feels like it's like speed, full speed ahead. We're right there, and it'll be here before you know it.
The only thing reckoning is it has to be in Pittsburgh. Why would they do that? Come on, Cody. Why would they do that? Pittsburgh, PA? I mean, really?
I mean, it's been in some weird spots with the draft. Wow. I mean, they've had Detroit, they've had Green Bay, and now Pittsburgh. And the funny thing is I see all this stuff on social media for all these people in Pittsburgh. They're like, I don't think people understand it's impossible to get around here.
Oh, my goodness.
Normal working traffic. And now they're putting because they're going to say 100,000 people are at that thing, and they're probably right, but it's going to be a disaster. I don't know why they do it in Pittsburgh. I wouldn't go if I was invited. I'd chill with my family. I'd throw a big party wherever I live.
I've been there. I know what that place is like. It's something, but you know what? Their fans travel all over the NFL. It's going to be I think this may be a record breaker. I don't know. They're going to have Pittsburgh Steelers fans mobbing the city of Pittsburgh from all over the world to come to Pittsburgh. Why they want to come to Pittsburgh, I don't know. That's why they travel so well, because they're trying to get out of Pittsburgh.
Bingo. That's what I was going to say right there. Yeah, they're going to every other NFL stadium so they don't have to go to Pittsburgh. Smart move by them. Well, Cody, we'll focus on the Texans here. Pick number 28 in the first round. We'll get your thoughts on CJ Stroud and some of the other storylines surrounding Houston here in the offseason. But is it offensive line or bust for the Texans? Nick Caserio kind of reshuffling the deck here in the offseason. Do you think they go offensive line, or do you think there's a chance that maybe they surprise some folks next week?
For the first time in a long time, I really believe that the Texans can do just about anything. And it probably falls into the category of, yeah, okay, I get it. I understand it. And not because they need so much, because 2023, a few years ago, they could have done anything. And you'd be like, yep, they needed that player because the team was awful. They truly feel like right now that if they had to go play a game tomorrow, this is something that Nick Caserio, the general manager, and D'Amico Ryan's head coach say all the time. Well, if we had to play tomorrow, we could fill out the lineup card. It's like, okay, cool. There's always room for improvement. But they had some guys on the offensive line this offseason that I feel like they feel pretty sound about. Probably weren't my favorite free agents, but brought in a right tackle from the Colts, brought in a guard from the Browns, and they feel pretty good about those guys and having experience, both those guys being good run blockers, which the Texans did poorly last year. Feels like they're going to be tough to beat out for a rookie. I actually feel like D'Amico Ryans, despite having the best defense or one of the best defenses in the NFL, might add to his defense at 28 and maybe even 38. They could use some depth at defensive end. They could use some depth at defensive tackle. And then after they kind of pick some of those key depth parts, then they can start just kind of throwing a dart at the dartboard and see whatever comes up. And truly, for the first time ever, I'll believe them when they say, well, we went best player available. It's like, okay. Sometimes you say that and it's like, yeah, but you needed a wide receiver and an offensive lineman, and that's what you drafted. So that really wasn't best player available, was it? It's funny how best player available just happens to be the guy that they drafted every time when teams say that. I'll actually believe it this year, though.
Cody, when you have a defensive head coach and one of the best, if not the best defense in the NFL, that guy is going to try to assure it's going to be even better than it was the year before. So if there's a pick when he's got an opportunity and he doesn't feel that great about it, I mean, now the general manager may say, we got to have an offensive lineman to help out our quarterback. The head coach is still going to push for a guy on defense. He's going to get a defensive player. He's not going to leave that room. Although we all think maybe he should take a couple offensive linemen, a couple of them, that guy's not going to leave his defense without taking a player that they've circled somewhere down the line as the guy. And that circling somewhere down the line doesn't mean at the end of the draft either. Right. It could be a lot sooner than you think with D'Amico Ryan, I got to believe.
Well, I always say Nick Caserio does a really good job being a general manager, and he does a really good job of doing what D'Amico Ryans wants him to do and getting what D'Amico Ryans wants. If D'Amico wants, D'Amico gets. He's the final say in that building, and I'm totally with you. They might add some bodies on the offensive line, but that investment, that focus, like you're not going to go very long before seeing a defensive player added for the Texans.
Yeah.
Cody Stutes of Houston Football joining us here on Bucky and BK. Well, do you agree with that, Cody? Like, to me, this whole offseason should be about, maximizing CJ Stroud, right? Finding a way to get him back to his rookie year numbers to where he looks like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He wasn't bad in the regular season, but everyone saw what he did in the postseason, and it was not good. Do you think the Texans should truly be going best player available, or should they be like best player who helps CJ Stroud look good?
Yeah, I don't totally disagree with you, but this whole offseason has been about eliminating excuses for CJ Stroud, just going down the list and taking away any excuse that he might have. They spent money on the offensive line in free agency, spent near the top of free agency on the offensive line. It's the first time they've really done that as an approach to try to fix their offensive line. They went out there and changed quarterback coaches. to a guy that's more familiar with the system that they are running. He was already in the building, but they gave him the title officially. They needed to improve the run game. They went out there, got David Montgomery, traded for him. That should improve the run game. It's just going down the list and eliminating any of the excuses that CJ Stroud can point to. And they've been they haven't hid the fact that they're expecting big things out of CJ Stroud. DeMeco Ryans said a few weeks ago, hey, this is his first real offseason for whatever reasons have happened last year. Well, he kind of had a shoulder thing a year ago. And then 2 years ago, he was on a podcast tour that wouldn't stop and didn't really take the offseason seriously. Stroud himself said as much at the end of his second season. So now, big offseason, offensive line's a little bit better, got a better running back situation, different quarterback coach, and the defense is still going to be excellent, and they're trying to make it even better. They're just trying to go down the list and eliminate questions for CJ Stroud. They've got 3 really good wide receivers that they're bringing back from last year that have high expectations, and Nico Collins, Jaden Higgins. I feel like Jalen Noel's really good. They didn't use him as much, but he's going to get a crack at that top 3. They probably still need or could add a wide receiver, and if there was a fast enough guy that plays outside, I'd love to see him add that. And they probably need to shore up the tight end spot a little bit more as well. But their goal in the offseason is eliminate all the excuses for CJ Stroud so that when he goes out there and plays, he either succeeds or fails, and they know what to do with him at the end of 2026.
Yeah, they picked up that 5th-year option on him. They want everything to work. They truly want things to work the right way. They want to get him back to his rookie year, which was phenomenal. So they'll give him every way to succeed and every way not to fail. And if he does fail, it's going to be about CJ Stroud. It's not going to be because he didn't have this or he didn't have that. And I think it's kind of an all-in year for him. If he does well during the regular season and he just falls flat on his face again during the playoffs, I think they're going to start looking for another quarterback.
You're absolutely right. I mean, it's funny because even if Stroud literally replicated 2025 and 2026, like decent regular season and fell flat in the playoffs, somebody would still give it a shot. You know how coaches are. Sure. They see another team's guy and they think, well, they screwed him. They didn't do right by him. I can do better. That might be enough for some other team, but for the Texans, they would need to do something different. They would need to move on. Right. So, 2026, the 5th-year option for 2027, that's just formulaic business. It makes it easy to keep him. If you want to keep him, it gives you control to trade him to somebody else. If you want to trade. 2026 is the year for CJ Stroud. He either determines that he's going to be the quarterback of the future for the Texans, or he determines that he's going to be playing for somebody else this upcoming season.
Yeah, Cody Stutes from Houston Football and SNL Texans Talk joining us here on Bucky and BK. Well, back to DeMeco Ryans, Cody. I mean, what's the approval rating for him? He's such a likable guy, an infectious personality. I mean, he's been to the playoffs in all 3 years. He's been a head coach, and considering the situation he walked into, I mean, you and I were co-hosting together for the worst team in the NFL for a couple of years, so it's been quite the turnaround for him in his tenure. But obviously the Texans, they keep losing in the divisional round. Are people still happy with DeMeco Ryans, or is patience starting to wear thin with the fact that he can't get over that second round hump?
Oh, he's still golden. People still love DeMeco Ryans. There's plenty of people to blame that aren't DeMeco Ryans, and he'll be I don't want to say he's the last guy, but he's way down the list on the blame chart when you start worrying about the Texans not doing this or not doing that. Stroud obviously caught the most this year with how terrible he played in the playoffs, and that's when, knowing that DeMeco Ryans is the ultimate decider of things, that's when it really kind of falls at him. It's not really the season because his defense plays excellent, and there's a lot of like, well, what could he have done for the offense type things. But like when you see the offseason approach, yeah, Nick Caserio is the general manager. He negotiates and but DeMeco Ryans sets the tone and sets the plan. So they're executing what DeMeco Ryans wants. So a couple of years ago when they waited too long to fire an offensive coordinator, never got a crack at Clint Kubiak as an offensive coordinator because he was already in Seattle. Well, where's Clint Kubiak now? He's a head coach, a Super Bowl winning offensive coordinator. They probably missed up on that. That was a DeMeco miss. Changing things over, Nick Caley being a little disappointing. That falls at DeMeco a little bit. He's the guy that hires the coaches. Yeah, they're changing quarterback coaches. That was a DeMeco Ryans decision, it felt like it. And he's not afraid to say, I made the decision, this is my decision. Okay, well, he's also not afraid to take some of the criticism when things go wrong, but he doesn't get a lot of the criticism laid at his feet. And there's plenty of people that are going to get the finger pointed at them before DeMeco Ryans. He's still beloved. And it's tough because even after a loss, he'll go up there and flash that big smile, and you're like, okay, DeMeco, I kind of get it, but I really wish you hadn't used a timeout and hadn't done this and that, but I get it. I understand.
Is he a pretty thick-skinned guy? I mean, does he take criticism pretty well, or is he one of those guys that you can tell he's upset that somebody asked him a question about his offense? Because like you said, Cody, that guy's got the wide receiver coach to fire yet, the running back coach to fire yet, the offensive line coach to fire yet before he's gone. So he's got some heads he can chop off.
I think there are moments where he's understanding of why the criticism's coming his way. And I think there's some times where he gets a little annoyed. There was a moment this past season where he said, well, everybody wants to talk about the negatives. Nobody says anything nice about us. And it was like, well, hold on now. Everybody talks about you nicer than any coach that has ever coached the Houston Texans. So I don't know about all that.
Yeah.
And he got a little hot under the collar about that. But then I think he understood that maybe he'd taken a step in the wrong direction, and there was some fair criticism and some worthwhile criticism, and it was pretty good after that. So I think he's got pretty thick skin, and I think the hard decisions, they're hard, but he'll still make them. I mean, the offensive coordinator they fired after 2 years is one of his best friends from San Francisco that he brought over. That wasn't easy. He had to move on from some young coaches that he liked at this spot and that spot because it was just time. That wasn't easy. So he's got pretty thick skin, but you can get under the collar every now and then. You can get that linebacker out of him every now and then.
Yeah. Cody Stutes of Houston Football joining us here for a couple more minutes. I did see a mock draft last week that has Anthony Hill going to the Texans at pick 28. I don't know if any Longhorns are going to go in the first round, but your thoughts on Anthony Hill? And I know you've done a bunch of research on all of these guys. Is there any Texas player that maybe you like on day 2 or day 3 for the Texans in this draft?
Yeah, look, I think DeMeco Ryans is absolutely adding to the linebacker situation at some point. When you think about Anthony Hill and you see the athleticism that he plays with and some of the success that he has. And look, the Texans love guys that have played a lot of football. Like they like guys that have a lot of snaps on their resume, be it because they've been in school forever or they're really good and then they're out of college because they're really good. And I think Hills definitely fits something that DeMeco Ryans could mold and take and turn into a really nice player. You just have a benefit of the doubt when they draft a defensive player that they're going to get the most out of him. Hill with the athleticism and the not having the need to play him right away because they have their starting linebackers and a key backup already in the building. All those guys could be gone at the end of the year. So the catch up pretty quick would be there. Like the rookie year would be a pseudo red shirt for Hill, but maybe you have him ready to be a starter in a year. I'd be totally fine with Anthony Hill being one of the selections, probably right there at 38. Certainly if the Texans didn't go linebacker and moved around a little bit in that second and third round, I'm down with Hill. Certainly not my favorite linebacker in the class, but I understand it. I would get it, and it would be a fun player to watch DeMeco Ryans mold. And then when I start to look at the rest of the guys available, I know they talked to DJ Campbell, but that would be a developmental situation at guard. And then injuries, the tight end. It was weird. I watched the landscape of college football, and I feel like a lot of tight ends that transferred this year didn't quite hit that expectation or that desire from them. But when you look at injuries, I think he's similar to a lot of other guys, but it's like, hey, there's a little bit here, there's a little bit there. You can put him in the room and you get something out of him. That's another player that I'm looking at who played at Texas where it's like, okay, he fits what the Texans need. They need another body. They need something a little bit exciting in that tight end room, and maybe injuries with some development could be that guy maybe not even in the long term, maybe eventually, because it's not the most talented tight end room. So whoever gets drafted to get in there, they're going to get a crack at an opportunity at some snaps right away.
So they want someone similar to who they have right now. I mean, because that offense, because he gets down the field, he makes a lot of plays. When he has an on season, he's very on. Now, he's not the greatest blocker in the world, but he can catch the ball.
I think they just need like the joke we have going is if you got a pulse, you got a chance in the tight end room for the Texans, just because they do not have anything settled outside of Dalton Schultz. And even Schultz, I mean, he's getting into his early 30s, and those tight ends, they can turn the corner real quick. So yeah, I mean, for injuries, I'm in, man. He's got a pulse. I watched him a little bit on Saturdays, so it's like I'm in. Bring him in there and see what happens.
So not only does Cody Stutes cover the Houston Texans, he's also a Heisman voter, Buck. So Cody, have you already submitted your vote for Arch Manning for the 2026 Heisman Trophy?
I have not, but I would think that there's a lot of people that would expect him to win that thing, right? Like, I mean, I tell you what, this is going to be a fun year at quarterback, or it's going to be one of the most overhyped years ever, because obviously Arch leads the way with that thing. He's going to start the year as everybody's favorite to win the award and probably go number one next year in the NFL draft. But I was going through the list the other day. When you're talking about the top 2 rounds for next year's draft, I came up with like probably 13, 14 names of quarterbacks that could go top 2. Obviously, some of those guys are going to fall off the map. Like it happened a year ago. Guys fell off the map. But yeah, Arch is, I mean, I hope he start looking at real estate in Miami, because they're gonna be awful. And they're probably tanking for him, New York as well. Like I'm very interested to see what happens with him, because I have high expectations for Arch. I thought he finished the year at a great clip, and I would think that he probably starts the year as the Heisman favorite, and it's not going to surprise me if he goes bell to bell for that award.
Yeah.
No doubt.
All right. Well, we wanted our audience to like Cody, but now we have to make them hate him. Cody's a Texas Tech fan.
You had to do that, didn't you? You just had
So
to do it.
how about a Texas Tech take, Cody? I don't care which direction you go. Great season last year, won the Big 12, made the playoff, scored a lot of points in that college. Oh, wait, no, did not score a lot of points in the college football playoff game. But your thoughts on Joey McGuire and Texas Tech right now?
Yeah, it's funny. Texas Tech, I mentioned, is a $30 million offseason, and everything they spent on, they didn't spend on a quarterback last year. I can't even go to Lubbock now because that quarterback might throw my bag off the runway. He's probably working at the airport now. Jeez. But then they went and got because when you look for a transfer quarterback, you definitely go to Cincinnati. No, the Sorsby kid they got, I like him. He wasn't my favorite transfer quarterback, but I understand why they got him. And they got a better quarterback situation. They don't have as good of a team as a year ago. I mean, how often do you see a team hit on it? Feels like every single transfer. I know they got some offensive linemen coming back. That should be good. They should still have some talent at running back, but they're losing some wide receivers. They lose a lot on defense. I don't know if they're going to replicate. The Big 12's solid, but it's not some amazing conference. Like, could they win it again? Certainly. But I'm not certain. I'm not expecting that from them with the losses. And yeah, they're playing the transfer portal game, and they spend that oil money like it's not going it's not going away anytime soon, which it's probably not. Okay. Yep. Certainly with geopolitics and all that. We don't need to get into it, but so I just don't think that they can recover from so many guys that they lost in that short of fashion. And I do wonder how they're going to handle success. That's one of my biggest things about schools that get to where they've never been. How do you handle it? Texas Tech's never been that good, except for 1 year with Mike Leach. And I mean, how did Mike Leach handle success? He got fired shortly after that, because he locked the kid in a closet. All right. So how does this version of Texas Tech handle success? We'll see. I'm not projecting college football playoff again, but top of the Big 12, that's certainly the expectation.
Cody, let me ask you this before you go. For the Texans, with their pick, is there a particular offensive lineman that they may be targeting, you think, or you think they're not gonna waste that? They're gonna wait a little bit on that. They're not gonna take a number one, a first round pick on an offensive lineman unless they've got somebody truly targeted that they think is going to fall right to them.
Because they have that 38th overall pick, I don't think 28th overall is going to be no lineman. But at 38, I would think Emmanuel Pregnon, the guard from Oregon, is a guy that they would like a lot. He'd be a sit and wait behind some of their veterans. And then I would think that as well, Max Ahanachor, the right tackle from Arizona State, probably needs a little bit of seasoning, sit and wait, and then eventually could take over at right tackle. I will say there's one player that if he starts to fall, I'd watch for the Texans to pay attention to him, and that's Spencer Fano from Utah. If he started to slip down the draft board, there's a thought that he could play center. That's the weakest spot on the Texans right now from an offensive line standpoint. So if they took the big Utah tackle and plopped him there at center, that'd be one of those, like, you see it, you understand the full upgrade right away, a guy that they trust right away. But he's going to need to fall down the board a little bit. They've got all this extra draft capital. I don't know if they want to use it on a trade up, but if he got in shouting distance, they might think about it. So look for Fano if he starts to fall on draft night.
I like that. All right, Cody, tell our audience how they can find your Texans coverage leading up to the draft and all year long.
Houston Football on YouTube. Just throw Houston Football into the search bar, and you'll be able to find me as well, along with SNL Texans Talk, and then have the newsletter and website as well. Just Houston Football with Cody Stutes in the Google machine. You'll find it.
There it is. You're the man, brother. Thanks so much
Thank
for
you,
doing
man.
this. We'll chop it up soon, but appreciate your time today.
Thank you,
Anytime,
Cody.
guys. Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, there he goes. Cody Stutes covering the Houston Texans down in H-Town, doing a great job. My former co-host on ESPN 97.5, one of my best friends in the world, a great dude. And interesting, Buck. It doesn't sound like the Texans are married to the idea of taking an offensive lineman in round one.
Their defensive coach is keeping his gig because of what he does on the defense, because everybody in the world is talking about how great that defense is. No matter what Seattle did, won the Super Bowl, they're still talking about how great the Texans are defensively. He doesn't want to lose that edge, BK. He doesn't want that thing they don't want to slip up anywhere on that defense. They feel like they probably can find something to help out the offense. And they're going to do everything they can to let CJ Stroud, sink or swim. That's just the way it's going. They're going to do that's why I said there's got to be somebody there eyeballing for that first pick. But even Cody doesn't think. He thinks that they're going to take best player type. And if it's a defensive player, they're probably going to take a defensive player.
Might be. And, the Texans did sign, I believe, 3 free agent offensive linemen this year. 2 of them are expected to start. One of them more of a depth piece. But, I guess for Nick Caserio, their general manager, and D'Amico Ryan's like, hey, that might be enough. Now, okay, we did enough in free agency, so we don't have to spend that 28th overall pick on an offensive
I can see
lineman.
after another wide receiver, you have 2 young guys that came from Iowa State that look pretty good, like they have a future. But if you can find another dynamic guy, Tank Dell, will he be healthy? I want to say, is he injury prone? I might as well say, yeah, he is. I guess he's injury prone because he keeps getting hurt.
Well, don't forget about Nico Collins, who's their best wide receiver.
Oh yeah, Mr. Hamstring dude.
That'd be a bad pick. If the Texans have 4 top 70 picks this year. They got 1 first, they got 2 seconds, and they got a third. If they draft a wide receiver with that first pick,
no, I don't think they would do that. No, I don't think they'd go that direction with the first pick.
That's a disaster right there. You've got other needs that are way more pressing than wide receiver. If you tell me they spend their 3rd round pick on a wide out, I can live with it. But
yeah, I agree. Like you said, you can use those offense. You can get those offensive linemen later on. And if somebody fell to you, I just don't think they're going to take at that pick the first one on an offensive lineman. I'd be surprised.
I don't know. I would not be surprised if they did that. And I guess it all kind of depends on how the board shakes out. I still think if you asked me to pick a position where the Texans are going to draft first next Thursday, I would say offensive line. But maybe I'm off on that. And look, if there's a big run of offensive linemen midway through the first round, which there could very well be, then that would allow some defensive players to drop a little bit. Maybe the Texans.
And the head coach's eyeballs would light up if he saw a couple of those great defensive players hanging out.
No doubt. No doubt. So there you go.
Now, they don't need anything in the secondary. Their secondary is all right, except for maybe safety.
They could use a safety. Their biggest needs on defense, I think, are with the defensive line. And, 2 of their starting linebackers are free agents after next year. So when I asked Cody about Anthony Hill, he's like, this would kind of be a little bit of a red shirt type of year to where he'd still play,
ready to go.
Have to start. And then it's okay, you let one or both of those guys go in free agency, then boom, you just plug Ant Hill in there to the starting lineup and he's ready to roll. But I think defensive line is probably their biggest. If there's an area they can get better, they've got some beast up there. It's not like they need everything, but if there's an area they could maybe get better, then that could be the spot.
So you think their secondary is pretty damn sound?
Their whole defense is pretty damn sound.
I know. I'm just trying
best defense in football last year.
I'm trying to find some place to put somebody in, another great defensive player. Because like I said, that head coach, they're sitting in those staff meetings right now, and every time somebody says something about an offensive guy, he's going, yeah, but that guy over there on defense? And he said, and then the rest of the staff looks at him and says, we got 3 guys like that. What are you talking about?
And he just gives that patented D'Amico Ryan smile.
Yeah, he's going, no,
like,
we're not.
Whatever you want, coach, whatever you want.
We're not taking another wide receiver, but that's that guy right there, linebacker or outside backer or rush in. I think we may just go ahead and take him.
Let me ask you an important question here. All right.
Yes.
And the people need your thoughts on this matter. And they
Okay.
might need my thoughts too. Where does D'Amico Ryans rank in your list of best-looking coaches in the NFL?
He's got great teeth.
Does have great teeth.
He's got a good smile. He's and that ball head works. That ball head works for him,
Yeah. You're saying it
Yeah, he's
doesn't
a
work
handsome
for
guy.
others?
He's a handsome guy.
All right. I'm not asking you if he's good looking. We know he's good looking. I'm saying,
Okay.
like, how high up on your list is he?
He's maybe. Well, he's not my guy from Texas Tech. He's not that dude.
Cliff Kingsbury?
No, he's not. He's not there yet.
Okay.
But I haven't been around to smell him yet either.
That's true. Well, Kingsbury's not coaching.
Yeah, but he still smells good. Even if he's not coaching, he smells like a fresh tossed salad. I guarantee you that.
You just think about it. It still follows you to this
Yes,
day.
it does.
You smelled the man one time a decade ago, and you can't get that scent out of your nose.
Yeah, and that was at a Big 12. That was at the Big 12 media day. That guy went by me, and I almost started floating. I was like Red Bull, has wings. I almost just started floating behind him. He smells so good.
Oh, man, like a freshly tossed salad?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm not talking. I mean, he smelled good. He went by, and I was like, and it wasn't the group that was with him. It was that dude.
Okay. All right. Well, he's your number one then. I don't know. Sean McVay's high on the list.
I got near Lovey once, but remember, I thought he was a bum. I was in.
We're talking about best-looking head coaches. You're calling Lovey Smith?
No, he looked like, I thought he was a hobo. I had said to Hogan, I said, "Who's that guy look like a bum in here? He's got like a t-shirt on, sweatshirt on or whatever." He said, "That's the head coach." I think he was with he was with the Bears then, I believe.
Sure.
He looked like a hobo because he had that gray beard, but it wasn't groomed. It was like going all different ways.
Scraggly.
He didn't come through like the front entryway. He came through like a side door.
Lovey Smith. Yeah, the old gray beard.
Oh my goodness.
Iconic.
Yeah, he looked like the guy that was selling cookies, like Famous Amos. That's who he looked like. I thought it was Famous Amos.
Pushing around an ice cream.
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought it was. He said, "No, man, that's Lovey." I'm like, that guy coaches. He goes, "Yeah, he's the head coach." I'm like, why is he coming through the side door with a hoodie on? He was coming in to see, I think may have been Saquon Barkley was doing his lifts. When Saquon was at the combine, like breaking records, lifting and stuff, I think that's when Lovey like showed up through the side entryway. And I'm like, there's a bum getting in here to use the bathroom.
That is great. Who let this bum in here?
Yeah, should have yelled it out really loud.
Oh, man. So Lovey Smith and Cliff Kingsbury are two best-looking coaches in NFL history.
No, he's not. Cliff Kingsbury's number one. He looked good and smelled good. He had the total package, that dude.
Oh, you saw it?
No, I didn't know. I didn't see the package. No, I smelled him, and he was a handsome guy because I did see him. He was here for his brother's wedding in Dripping Springs at a place that I have breakfast, and I didn't go over and say anything to him.
What?
I didn't. I was on the radio. I never went over to say, "Coach," I couldn't do it. I couldn't bring myself to do it.
Coach, let me smell you for a second.
Yeah. Let me go by you like 3 times and smell you.
You didn't even do that?
No, I didn't do it, man.
Probably
a man smelling another man is it's probably not kosher. That's probably not a good thing.
Sounds
but
like
once you get a certain whiff, you're just trying to emulate that. You're trying to find that smell on the counters somewhere where you can smell like that.
You should have asked him. That was your chance. Hey, Cliff, what was the cologne you were wearing at Big 12 Media Days back in 2015?
Hey, guys, I've been sharing thoughts on colognes with this dude from Austin, Texas on the radio. Isn't that kind of creepy? That's probably what he thought.
Hey, that would have been better than all the other questions he gets asked over and over again. Something different. Our guy Jake says some of the media would say Mike Vrabel is the best-looking coach in the NFL. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Some media members would say that.
You got to go. I mean, Sean McVay's near the top. LaFleur at Green Bay's near the top.
Yeah.
Robert Saleh, speaking of bold, is beautiful.
Yes.
That guy's high on most of these power rankings. Your guy O'Connell, Minnesota?
He's just a normal guy. He's sort of like the reporter's husband. He's just an average guy.
Okay.
I'm married to an average dude.
All right. Seahawks coach, Mike McDonald.
Yeah, he's all right.
Good looking guy, but best looking NFL coach without question. Andy Reid.
There you go. He gets it done. He knows.
Although with Mike McCarthy back in the game, he might eat all the other head coaches off this list.
We got a couple big ones back now.
Yeah. That is a big one right there in Pittsburgh.
Yes, it is, man.
Good luck to him. All right. So there you go. I don't know how we got there. It's probably my fault, but good Texans conversation and NFL draft conversation as we sit 7 days away from the NFL draft.
That does seem weird that the Texans are, well, I guess that's what you have to do. You do everything you can for what you thought you were going to have as a franchise quarterback, because you have to make some decisions. You can't wait 2 more years now.
Yeah.
You can't keep letting a defense like this. You got to find somebody to lead your offense. You just do.
Look, I think there's always fear that a quarterback you draft near the top of the draft isn't going to work. But I think that fear magnified based on what Seattle just did with Sam Darnold. Like, the Jets drafted Sam Darnold super high. He sucked there. A few years later, he bounced around the league. It's not a typical journey that he had, but in the right situation, that guy just won a Super Bowl. And he was very good on that Seahawks team all season long. So that's the fear. If you're the Texans, it's like, if we let CJ Stroud walk, it's probably better than CJ Stroud's tenure in Houston, a lot better than Sam Darnold's tenure with the Jets.
Yes, right? For sure.
If you let CJ Stroud walk and he ends up going to a different situation, he could be the Sam Darnold to where it's like, God, how do we let that guy go? Why couldn't we make it work with him?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, you don't want any excuses. I mean, they've got a great defense, and now they've spent some money in free agency. They drafted receivers. They got David Montgomery in the trade. It's all about, like, okay, we got to make sure that we're doing everything we possibly can.
Yeah, but it's about 2026. It ain't about 27.
No, and he's got that 5th-year option. But look, they can trade him. They can cut him. They'll be able to move on pretty easily after this year if Stroud doesn't take that next step. But yeah, as Cody said, they are trying to eliminate any and all excuses for why it might not work for him. So I think they can do a better job. I think if they went offense heavy in the draft, then you're really eliminating any and all excuses. But maybe they feel like they've done enough as it is. And hey, CJ, go prove that you are worthy of getting that big money second contract.
Yeah, and once again, the kids from Iowa State will be much better in their second year too. They got thrown in there pretty quickly and did okay.
Yeah, they did all right. A lot from Higgins, and Noel didn't play a ton, but when he played, I thought he was good. And Schultz is a solid tight end. They've got
Collins
some
has
solid
to be
pieces.
the one that stays healthy. He has to stay healthy.
Yeah, they all do. That wide receiver room. I mean, Nico's got to actually play, and Tank Dell, it's got to actually play for that room to reach its full potential.
For sure.
All right, we'll take your thoughts. Dakota text line, 512-222-9328. The YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch live chats are rocking and rolling as well. Before we shift gears, we got some Arch Manning sound to get into. We also will talk a little NBA and get to the BBK news. But before anything else, Buck, how about another round of sponsor shout-outs?
Our friend Matt King is a part of the rideproject.com. And folks, he's going on a 2,000-mile journey from Mexico to Canada with one mission. That's to raise $1 million and give it directly to communities who need it the most. And he's going to be meeting face-to-face with people along the route. So he wants to raise $1 million. He wants to give away $1 million. He doesn't want to raise $1 million and give away $500,000. He wants to give it all back to folks around this country that need it. And he'll start out from Mexico and end up in Canada. So we need your help in helping him out by going to therideproject.com and donating some of your funds. Whatever you can give to Matt, give, because he's going to give it away himself. He's not getting this money from you and keeping the money. He's giving the money away to folks that need it along the route. He's going to meet a lot of probably really great folks along the route, and they're going to meet a great person too, who's taking his time and taking his effort and his physicality to ride 2,000 miles on a bike across the country. So do what you can by going to therideproject.com and finding out more information on how you can help out Matt King.
Yes, indeed. Therideproject.com. And like the Buck said, he's not just pocketing this money.
No.
Like some people out there do.
It's fine when you know, you get $1 million and okay, I'll give away 300,000, but the other bit I'm going to go in my pocket. It's everything you get, he's giving away to some other folks. He's done this kind of charity throughout the state of Texas, but now he's doing it through America, and this is awesome.
No doubt about that. Speaking of awesome, Early Bird CBD. Shout out to our guy. I'm trying to find the comment right here from earlier in the show. I believe it was our guy Patrick. There we go. Ordered Early Bird last night. Looking forward to them coming.
There you go.
Shout out to you, Patrick. Hopefully you use that promo code Bucky to get 20% off your first purchase. Early Bird CBD, you're going to love them. I can tell you right off the bat, you were going to enjoy your Early Bird experience. I'd take the Early Bird gummies when I just need to take the edge off. Long day of work, long week of work. I just want to sit back, relax, maybe watch a movie, maybe watch some sports, and just kind of melt into the couch. That's what Early Bird CBD is all about for me. Sometimes I'll take it right before bed. If it's a weekend, I get to sleep in a little bit, and I don't have anything to do early on a Saturday or a Sunday. Shortly before going to bed, I'll just pop an Early Bird CBD, and I'll be out like a light. Love Early Bird CBD. I feel great. It helps with the sleep. I don't know why you're doing a jerk-off motion over there. That's a little weird. But
I'm feeling good from playing golf yesterday. I don't have any hurts. I don't have any pains. Generally, I'd wake up a little bit of back pain. I took it late, too, and that's the thing. Generally, I'll take it, give it about a 2-hour stretch before I hit the golf course. This is on the ride over, BK. So when I got there, it was like, no, I don't need to look. Hey, you need to hit some balls? No. Where's the tee? Let's go. I'm starting to swing. I'm ready to go. And it felt great. This was after I had gone to Hat Creek Burger Company and I did eat some of those fries, those queso fries. I did a double with cheese, the whole works. Queso fries, did not have any chili. I did have a small little kiddies shake to go along with that. And then I had an Early Bird on top of that before I played golf and made it through without having to do anything. I just made it through the day. Back feels good. My belly felt great. It worked out just well for me.
All right. Well, there you go. There's a hijacked Early Bird CBD read.
There you go.
Thanks to Hat Creek for that. But Early Bird CBD gummies and tinctures, they've got a new product launching next week. Very excited to tell you all about what's next at Early Bird. But again, their gummies are fantastic. They got 3 flavors to choose from as well. Go get you some. earlybirdcbd.com.
Yeah, I'm going to have some of my old guys. They want to give it a try. Yeah, but I think theirs is not more for the part about being sore. Theirs is for once they get home after a round of golf and they've come home late. They may want to, before they speak to mama, they may want to pop one in before they walk into the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works too.
I don't want to deal with you, so I'm taking an Early Bird gummy. I'm trying to relax. I'm not trying to hear any of that.
I don't want to hear any of that. I just heard that guy on the golf course talking for 4 hours. And no, I've now got to shut up for another round of golf.
Yeah, I got to get yelled at for spending 4 or 5 hours on the course and maybe losing some money. I don't want to hear that. Give me an Early Bird CBD. I'm going to bed.
Yeah, I'm going right to bed.
I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, man. Love Early Bird CBD. Also, a shout out to our guy, Dr. Chad, Sleep Cycle Center. Speaking of sleep, your sleep is very important to you. Do not play around with your sleep. If you have trouble snoring, if you have trouble falling asleep, staying asleep, if you're feeling tired and drowsy throughout the day, reach out to our guy, Dr. Chad, and his great team at Sleep Cycle Center. They've got 2 Austin area locations. They're offering free consultations to Bucky and BK listeners. They're also offering $100 off at-home sleep studies for listeners of this show. Now, more than 22 million Americans have undiagnosed sleep apnea. It might be you, and it's not just annoying or frustrating or let me just drink 5 cups of coffee and it'll all be good. It can be a serious health problem. Don't play around with your sleep. Go see our guy, Dr. Chad. Dr. Chad lost his own father to undiagnosed sleep apnea. He is so passionate about making your sleeping problems go away for good. Go see him. SleepCycleCenters.com. Again, 2 Austin area locations, one up north, 183 in Breaker, the other out in Lakeway off of 620. It's Sleep Cycle Center.
Wow.
All right. Let's get to a little sound from QB1.
Okay.
We've got 5 cuts to play. I don't know if we'll get to all 5 of them today, but here's Arch Manning, who was made available yesterday for the first and last time here in the spring. You have to trust me on this. You know, Arch Manning is very well trained with media, Buck. He doesn't give a whole lot. His answers are short and sweet and to the point. He's not looking to go viral. He's not ever going to say anything that's going to get him in trouble. So most of what I cut up were kind of the longest answers that Arch Manning gave. Usually it's like 5 or 6 seconds and boom, he's on to the next question. So he was asked about his health and he did say, quote, "I feel 100% right now. We're kind of taking it slow, but if we had a game today, I'd be playing," end quote. That wasn't very interesting to play. So here's some stuff that I found interesting. Arch Manning was asked about getting mental reps, right? He's been limited in the spring, but he's still been out there at practice every single time. Here's Arch Manning talking about what he's been able to do at practice despite being a little banged up.
Yeah, obviously when you're not out there, you're kind of antsy, and it was hard the first few weeks just not being able to do anything. Now I get to do a little bit more, so just getting those mental reps, spending time with the guys, trying to teach the younger guys has been good.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those. I mean, he doesn't need a lot of reps now, and the fact that he wants to be there. He wants to, he wants to have that camaraderie. It sucks when people know that they see you, they know who you are, and you're not limping around. They know that you could be out there with them, but the boss is saying, nope, he's not going out there. He's not doing that. So he wants to be with the guys. He wants to be a part of the team that way because he knows himself, I can jump in this huddle right now and do a lot of things, and I'd be just fine. But my boss over there too is going, no, you're not. We're not going to take that chance. And everybody around you knows they're not going to take that chance. But that's tough on him. It really is. So he has to stay in the game mentally. He has to stay mentally sharp of what's going on in front of him.
Yeah, and also, I mean, he's setting an example for some of the younger guys on this team, right? I mean, to KJ Lacey and Diabell in that quarterback room, but also guys all across the roster. And Arch Manning taking more of a leadership role this year.
Sure.
And it makes sense. I mean, it's year 4 with the program. He's going into his second season.
He knows a bunch of guys, yeah.
Yeah, I think last year, and we talked to Chip Brown, and he kind of alluded to this yesterday. Arch has always been like, I just want to be one of the guys. I don't want special treatment because my last name's Manning or I was the #1 quarterback recruit coming out of high school or all this NIL stuff. Remember, Arch Manning didn't take $1 in NIL money until he was the starting quarterback at Texas. And I think last year, Arch wasn't that much of a leader. He didn't try to go out of his way, I guess, to be a leader. I feel like if I say he's not a leader, it's going to come off as critical. I'm not trying to do that. But I think he probably felt like, I've got to earn this. Like, I've been here and I'm the starting quarterback. So some of that just naturally comes with the job, but it's my first year as a starter. I got to go out and play and earn the trust and respect. I can't just pretend to be a leader because I haven't really done anything yet in college. And now that he has had a very good season, especially with the way he ended last season, and he's going into his second year as QB1, I think leadership is something you are going to see a lot more of from Arch this year.
But he'll be the leader of both sides of the ball. Last year, Anthony Hill could do that. He could lead, and he could lead not only the defense, but the team itself. I think Arch is now the leader of the team. So that's just not about the offense. It's about the football team. So I think he'll take that leadership role on. He didn't feel like he could do that, like you said, last year. They had older players that had been around a while and playing a lot of football that could do that, and good players. And so now he's going to know, he knows he's a good player. So now he can take on that leadership, and people will follow him a little bit easier than they even did last year when they were #1 to start the season. He was all this and all that. But now he's earned that from his team because he's had the ups and the downs of a football season. So I think that should be much easier for him and much easier for his team to follow him.
Yeah. Another one from Arch Manning here, kind of along those lines. He was asked if he feels like he's earned the respect of his team. Did you earn it by the end of last year, and how have you earned this year's team's respect?
Yeah, I think you're always trying to earn more respect. Rent is due every day, so you got to wake up and work hard and earn it. Take no days off, but it was definitely a little bit easier, I'd say, this year because you've been through some tough times with the guys, and you've proved it a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, you've been through some tough times. It's not about all those fun times and all that good stuff. It's about those tough times that you're still right there, and you're still trying to get better, and that's what he's done. So that leadership and that responsibility that he's going to have, that's a responsibility for the team now, not just for his offensive guys and how he throws the ball, but the mistakes he makes, he'll understand how it affects everybody.
Yeah.
Not just the offense, but special teams, the whole works.
I like that line. Rent is due every day.
Yes.
Right? You can't just pick and choose the times where you're going to lead and you're going to set a good example. I mean, you've got to show up every single day. And I mean, that's important for him as a franchise quarterback of a college team who's going to be a franchise quarterback of an NFL team at some point.
Yes.
That just a lot comes with the territory there. And yeah, you've got to lead. And I think Arch Manning definitely has the respect of those guys in that locker room. One more here from QB1. He was asked, what was the most enjoyable part of last season? Last year had to be a whirlwind, right? I mean, you talked about it. Texas, the number one team in the country going into the year. Arch Manning was the favorite to win the Heisman Trophy going into the year. Just ridiculous expectations for a guy who was about to be a starter for the first time in college. And the start of the year wasn't fun. I mean, Texas began the year 3-2. They lost their first two games against power conference opponents. It took a while for things to really get into gear for Arch and for the Longhorn team as a whole. Here's Arch when he was asked about, hey, like, what was fun? What did you enjoy about 2025?
Really just getting through that, that slump. I knew, like, I was better than that, and I wanted to, come out the other side. So, and I still think I haven't shown my best play yet. I still think it's out there, so I'm going to keep pushing forward.
Yeah, he wants to fulfill those expectations. He thinks he's ready to fulfill those expectations without having to actually say that to people that are sitting in front of him. He feels that he wants to fulfill all of those expectations now. He thinks he's ready to do just that.
Yeah, he also said at one other point in yesterday's availability that he was pissed. Like, he used that word. He was pissed with the way that he played early in the year.
Oh, yeah.
And, it got to him a little bit. And once he just kind of relaxed and started having more fun out there, it elevated his game and obviously elevated his team's play too. So not taking himself so seriously, I think, is something for Arch Manning. And obviously the most encouraging part, at least for me at the end of that, was I feel like my best football's in the future.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And this is a guy who ended last year as one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. And I mean, it should be, right? You want to progress, you want to develop year over year. Things should be easier. The game should slow down. And honestly, the talent around him on this roster is significantly higher than what it was last year. So I think all of those things are going to help. But this kid with some confidence, and I think he should be. I think you're right. He knows what the goals and expectations are. But I think at this point, he's ready to face them versus maybe being a little deer in the headlights at this time last year.
Yeah, but he also doesn't want to be cocky about saying it, but he knows what his abilities are now. He knows what everybody's expecting of him and what he's expecting of himself. He's not going to be that same guy last year that's going to have those kind of struggles. And when he does have those struggles, because at the quarterback position, you're going to have those in a game or two, he's going to bounce back real quickly. It's not going to be that same guy the following series or the following plays. He's going to bounce back a lot quicker than he did before.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he was in a slump last year. Like the Sam Houston game was great. Texas won that one 55-0, and everyone looked good. But I mean, the Ohio State game, Arch was not good. San Jose State was a struggle. UTEP was a disaster, and then the Florida game, like,
right.
Man, Arch may have been the best player for Texas on the field in that game, but still had a couple of turnovers, and like, it was a slump. He used the word, so I don't feel bad using it. You can't have that. Quarterback's going to have off days. They're going to make bad decisions. That's
sure
how it goes. But it can't be like, oh, for a month of the year, we're talking about, is Arch Manning good? Like, is he even the best option? Because those were conversations people were having last year. It's like, should we
there's no doubt
see what Matthew Caldwell's all about? Like that stuff obviously cannot happen this year for Texas.
Yeah, and I would just expect him to still have some struggles here or there, just like every other quarterback does. But I think his bounce back factor will be way more quicker than it was last year. We don't have to, this won't linger on for weeks. We're just hoping the next game, he'll show you the next game. Yeah. I think he'll show you the next series type of thing.
Way more quicker. I like that. Way more quicker.
Way more quicker.
Way more quicker. All right, we'll take your thoughts. The Dakota text line 512-222-9328. We'll get to the BBK news. Got some fun stories to dive into, plus why today is not so bad. Real quick, want to give some love to our friends at Qualis Roofing.
Yeah, man, that wind's going to be blowing tomorrow. Look out for that roof.
If your home has been affected by recent storms, or if your home gets affected by the upcoming storms, reach out to our friends at Qualis Roofing and Construction. It's not just homeowners. They do commercial roofing as well. So if your business takes it on the chin a little bit, reach out to Qualis. They're not fly by night. They're not a random crew who just started, oh, it's raining, I'm going to start a roofing company today. No, these guys have been around. They've got more than 700 five-star reviews online. They are the most trusted name in roofing here in Central Texas. They also do some work up in the DFW Metroplex as well. And again, residential and commercial roofing projects. There's no pressure. There's no gimmicks. It's just honest assessments and quality work. You know, insurance companies say you should get your roof checked twice a year. Qualis is like, you don't need that. That's excessive. Just get it checked once a year. Make sure everything's okay. Obviously, if something's going wrong with these storms, reach out to them as well. And here's what they offer. Now, some of these companies, Buck, they're like, yeah, that'll be $100 for an inspection, and we need to come out to your place twice a year. Qualis is like, no, once a year is fine. The inspection's going to be free, and we're going to buy you a Texas Longhorn t-shirt from Sue Patrick if you get an inspection. So how about that? No risk. They'll come out to your place. They've got drones that'll look at your roof. They'll go up there and look at your roof, make sure everything's working and looking the way it's supposed to be looking and working. And then they'll hook you up with a free Longhorn t-shirt from our friends at Sue Patrick. Plus, if you're getting a roof replacement, they will buy you either a Traeger smoker or a Blackstone grill.
Love that grill.
We're trying to take care of our listeners here. All you got to do is give them a call, 512-257-0033. You can find out more on their website, qualisgc.com. That's QUALISGC.com.
Of course, our friends at Woods Comfort Systems, 70 years in Central Texas, they have been getting it done. Air conditioning, heating, and now, folks, they do plumbing, indoor and outdoor plumbing. If you see something that's not right out there, your sprinkler system, and you can't find a way to stop it, and it's still going when it's not supposed to be going, call on the folks at Woods Comfort Systems. Let their technicians come out and get that plumbing done, because they are very good at what they do when it comes to air conditioning and heating. I'm pretty sure they're going to be very good at when it comes to plumbing also. 70 years in Central Texas, nobody does it better.
WoodsComfortSystems.com, 512-842-5066. All right, let's get to the BBK news here, Buck. Good news for Sharon Moore. Remember him?
Yeah, I saw a little something on him. Yeah, good news. He ain't in jail.
Well, part of the good news is that, you know, Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini have kind of taken the limelight away from his adultering story. But yeah, ex-Michigan football coach Sharon Moore will avoid jail time. He was sentenced to 18 months probation and fined just over $1,000 earlier this week for 2 misdemeanors stemming from that incident at the apartment of a staff member with whom he had engaged in an inappropriate relationship. Remember, he got fired at Michigan for cause because of this improper relationship he was having with a team staffer. And after news of that broke, he went straight to her apartment and basically threatened to kill her and kill himself right in front of her.
With a butter knife. Yeah, that's not going to work there, OJ.
Yeah, well, it kind of worked because he only got probation.
Yeah, it worked for him. Yes.
I mean,
probation.
Probation's not great, and he still had to pay a fine, but that's a guy who made a lot of money to be a head football coach, so I don't think $1,000 is going to.
No, no.
And my guess is
your guess that $1,000 may go for his rent? You think he's still living at his other house? Probably not.
Oh, like with his actual wife? You think they're still together? I haven't heard anything about a divorce with those two. Maybe it'll happen.
Love is special.
Love is special. Well, I guess if you divorce, you get half of the money, right?
Certain states, yes.
I wouldn't be surprised, and this is all speculation here, so don't get mad at me. But
yeah, don't get mad at, hey, don't shoot the messenger.
If the former staffer is like, you know what, I won't be my lawyer, my side will be a little easy on you in the courtroom if you just pay us a lot of money.
Oh yeah, there is some settlement cash in there.
Like maybe we could put you in jail for a long time because of what you did, but you know what? We'll lighten up the events. We'll say it was just a misunderstanding and everything was blown out of proportion, and I exaggerated a little bit on the police report because I was caught up in the moment.
And I did take some part in it.
Well, there's nothing criminal about cheating. And also, she's not married. She wasn't cheating at all. She was home wrecking.
Yeah, that's true.
But there's no crime in cheating. The crime was him breaking into her place and like taking a knife, threatening her and threatening himself. That's the crime right there. That's why jail time seemed like it was very possible.
What a fool.
Yeah, butter knife and kitchen scissors.
Oh, thank you very much.
And originally charged with third-degree home invasion, stalking, and breaking and entering. The home invasion charge was a felony. Pleaded no contest to some of that stuff back in March. And again, just a couple of misdemeanors. And he is getting probation only.
Yeah,
Plus, I guess
he could be back with his wife. Things could be all patched up.
Like
never.
Yeah, maybe he's back with a mistress. What's more likely to get patched up? The mistress thing where he basically threatened all that he threatened, or the wife who he was cheating on for probably a long time?
You're more likely to get back with the mistress. You ain't getting back to the house. Those people never forget.
Yeah, well, he's got some kids at home though, right?
Yeah, that's what I know, but we're not trusting in Daddy right now. Daddy's got he got a long time. We got some trust issues going on here.
And rightfully so.
Yes.
His trust issues are very warranted right there.
No doubt.
There's your Sharon Moore story. Why today's not so bad, Buck? We've got so much written down. We'll save the rest of our BBK news for tomorrow, but we're up against it from a time standpoint. Today is National Bananas Day.
I just had one before. I have one for breakfast. I have a banana generally before I come up. I'll have banana with my muffin and coffee before I start the show.
Cliff Kingsbury's banana or just
no, just regular banana, not very green. My wife likes really green bananas. Those things are nasty. Okay. I take them. They don't have to be real soft, but I like a regular banana early in the morning to go with my coffee.
You're a fan of phallic-shaped foods?
I mean, I like a good cucumber too.
Yeah, good sausage, perhaps.
I'm not a big sausage fan. I used to. No, I don't eat hot dogs. Only at a baseball game. Only time I eat hot dog is at a baseball game. I never had hot dog as a meal. I've never gone into that place in Texas, Wiener Schnitzel or whatever, the ones that had the big, huge.
Yeah.
I've never had one of those before.
What if you're at a cookout or a barbecue?
No, I don't eat hot dogs there.
You just
I
go
don't eat
with
a hamburger.
Okay, interesting.
I barely do a sausage in my own little barbecue.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No,
sir.
That's true.
Also, National Eggs Benedict Day and National Wear Your Pajamas to Work Day. Try that on. I mean, not us. For us, we're basically in pajamas every day. But go to your office today. Those of you, most of you probably are already there. Show up in pajamas. See what happens.
Well, I see most of you ladies go shopping, go to HEB with pajamas on. I think that's just bogus. People showing up in their pajamas like why are you put some pants on, will you?
Well, the HEB talent is pretty good, but when you go to Walmart and see that, that's where it's.
Oh, it's scary there because half the pajamas falling off like that guy who fell at the ball game.
They're either falling down or they're like lifted up so high or they're not covering enough.
Oh,
that's not what you need.
No,
that is not what you need.
Please tell me not. I saw the photo that found you. I saw that on TV of the guy falling down at the ballpark. I saw that on the news. That caught people's attention, folks.
Of course it did. Full moon at the baseball game.
Oh, poor kids.
Yeah, poor kids. Poor everyone. Poor every listener of this show who had to watch that.
Man.
Birthdays today. Lou Alcindor, 79.
Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul Alcindor.
You know, it's interesting. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is also 79 today.
Really?
What are the odds that they have the same birthday, born same year? Stunning. Bill Belichick is 74 today.
He's a young 74. He likes to be young.
I'm so mad because his girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, just had her birthday like 2 weeks ago. So they're only 49 years apart. They were so close to being 50 years in age difference.
Wow.
She's 25. He's now 74.
And they're still together. That thing's still working.
Still together. Martin Lawrence, 61. That's funny. He's funny.
He's funny. He's funny dude.
Chance the Rapper, 32. Akon, 43. Born on this day, now dead. Charlie Chaplin. I don't know who that is. Who is that?
Yeah, with a big top hat and waddled with his little cane and spinning it around.
Actor or something?
Silent movie star.
All right.
No talkie, just.
Born on this day, now dead. Wilbur Wright, one of the co-inventors of the airplane.
I should know him, right? I should know him well.
You were there for their first flight.
Yes.
Born on this day, now dead. Selena.
Ooh,
Yeah, tough one right there.
a tough one, yes.
Born on this day, still alive. She deserves a shout out. Kat Osterman, Longhorn legend.
There you go.
Happy birthday, Kat. A couple of things that happened today. Big one for you, Buck. I guess big one for everybody. On this day in 1862, President Abraham Lincoln signed the District of Columbia Compensated Emancipation Act, ending slavery in the nation's capital 9 months before the Emancipation Proclamation.
And they didn't find out in the state of Texas for like 18 years later or something.
Only 2. Give us some credit. We weren't that bad.
Or the Pony Express that just didn't get out here with the news quick enough.
No, I think it got out. We were just like, yeah.
Why do it?
Let's throw this away.
Hey,
We don't even
why
share
do
the news.
this?
We heard. Nah, we're good. We don't need to do that.
They freed who? Was that the big question? They freed who?
They freed who? No, they didn't. We're not going to tell them that they're free.
We'll let them know a couple years down the line.
Yeah, Juneteenth. We'll have Juneteenth. We want to give the people another federal holiday, so we'll do that.
Yeah, and I'm bad because for the first couple of years in Texas, I did not celebrate Juneteenth because I'm like, do you know you were freed a lot sooner, you dumbasses? I mean, I was so mad when I first got here. I finally have given over to that. No, you think they wanted to be still slaves? I was thinking in my mind, did you really want to be? I finally figured that out. But I didn't celebrate for the first couple of years in the state of Texas because I'm like, dude, you were free 2 years ago. I was mad at the wrong people.
And then you realized, well, it's an extra day off of work, so I'm gonna.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, congratulations.
Oh man, couple more for you. On this day in 1912, American aviator Harriet Quimby became the first woman to fly a plane across the English Channel. Her feat was largely overlooked at the time because she was a woman. No, because it happened the day after the Titanic sank.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So nobody cared. On this date, 1972, NASA launched the Apollo 16 mission from Cape Canaveral. Cool. And on this day in 1947, the Texas City disaster, the deadliest industrial accident in U.S. history, occurred when a freighter carrying ammonium nitrate exploded in the port of Texas City, triggering a chain reaction of fires and explosions.
That's interesting. I didn't know that about this state. No.
Oh my God. And that city still smells bad to this day. And
Come on, really?
I don't know if it's because of that, but you just drive through Texas City and it smells like ass.
Oil? Does it smell like gas?
Yeah.
Or
It
ass?
is not good. 581 people killed
Wow.
in those explosions. At least there may have been some folks they never found there.
Man.
But there you go. So that's why today's not so bad, even though most of those are pretty bad.
Pretty damn bad.
And you're even money on your 2-unit plays last night. You got your
Yes, I was.
Sixers right, but you bet against Steph Curry in the playoffs, and that was
Dumb.
not a good move. All right, no NBA games tonight, so we'll get you
Nice.
our locks tomorrow. But we're out of time.
All right,
Thanks
buddy.
to everybody for tuning in.
Great
today.
job.
Great show to you, my friend. And we got a couple of great guests joining us tomorrow, but we'll save that all for tomorrow. Y'all have a great day. We'll talk to you all on a Friday.
Hook 'em.
Hook 'em.